behind the scenes stuff more often. Whoa, all right, what's up, guys? We are live. Welcome to episode 9. We're almost in double digits already of season 4. Although I've been kind of thinking about getting rid of the seasons and just doing total episodes, because once you've done so many, it starts to look more impressive. Like episode 101 would look really cool. But anyways, tonight I have a really special guest on tonight. I have one of my good friends that I met through the VeeFriends community, Ron Jordan. When I first won my VeeFriend, he was one of the first people that I connected with. He's extremely into MMA, martial arts, especially jiujitsu. Apparently, he does Krav Maga. He was just telling me that too. So he's also huge into NFTs. He's one of the like 3 or 4 people I know that I like really love that are finalists for the Sorcerer scholarship contest from Gary Vee, which is ridiculous. We'll definitely talk about that. And just an amazing dad and husband, and I really admire him so much. I can't wait to talk to him. It's been a little bit, so without further ado, let's just get into this shit. Make sure you share it if you're enjoying it. Stuttering over my words already, so let's fucking go.
Wait, what am I doing? Created a movement, won't ruin what you are pursuing, but I wake up every morning never yawning, cause I wake up with the intent to make the day my bitch, and I don't need to hear you talking, so just shut your lips, cause I'ma make it, yeah, I'ma make it, I'ma make it, I'ma make it, Lord have mercy, I'ma make it, I wake up with the intent to make the day my bitch, and I don't need to hear you talking, so just shut your lips, I'ma make it, yeah, I'ma make it, I'ma make it, I'ma make it, Lord have mercy, I'ma make it, This shit is crazy, right? This shit is crazy.
I wish we lived closer. I was thinking about the fights this weekend, and I was like, who would I want to watch the fights with this weekend? I was like,
Your
fucking
boy.
Ron. Yeah,
Your
like
boy, man.
that would be so dope if you and Alyssa live close, because I feel like Alyssa would really get along with my wife. They're into a lot of the same stuff. Sorry, my
Yeah.
fiance. Sorry. And
Dude, but listen, when she watches fights, she watches fights. Let me
oh,
tell you.
she's into it.
Oh, she is. If you
Ah,
get her on a good night, like sometimes, it's the end of the week, you're just trying to chill. Like, but if she's watching the fights, like she loves Thug Rose. Like that's her fighter.
yeah.
I bet you if you asked her who her fighter was, she'd say Thug Rose. But yeah, so if she's fighting or any of the other ones that she gets into, dude, it's crazy. She
Yep.
gets worse than me.
Rose is a beast. I can't wait for that rematch, man. I cannot wait. It's gonna be ridiculous because I mean, she did get her with that shot, that left kick to the head, just bam.
Mm,
It was
right.
amazing though.
I mean, to not go down whenever you get kicked. Like, I mean, you just bump your head into something. You're like, oh my god,
Yeah.
and she just got walloped. Just boom.
I think about
And
that all
ate
the
it.
time. Like they're just taking knees to the face, and I'm
Yeah,
like, ow. Like
yeah.
it's like they
I
trained
stub my
for it
toe
though.
and I
Like,
want to. I want to cry.
yeah. My friend Pete, like he was signed to the UFC, and now he's fighting for like the local pro circuit just to kind of get back into the UFC because he lost a couple fights, you know what I mean? And he's just building himself back up. And he's been training his ass off, dude, just like trying to get back to the top and
Uh-huh.
go way further than he got, like he got into it. Now he wants to like actually get into it, be a contender, um
And what
and
promotion does he fight on?
he's on Cage Titans.
Okay. Are
They're
they
a local
on?
New England one.
Yeah. Okay. Nice.
So when I see him, every time I see him, first of all, he looks more like cut, just like you could tell he's like working
Yeah.
hard on his strength. But then like you could see like the little bruises on his legs and like right above his eyes, and I'm like, he came into my new job, and because he needed some CBD for his upcoming fight, I sponsor him too. So I give
Nice.
him some products to help him with recovery from training. And he walked in his training gear, and one of my coworkers saw him before I did, and he's like, "Oh, can I help you, sir?" Like, 'cause and he's like, "No, I'm just here to see Adam." And I
I'm
was
looking
like,
for the
"Dude, you're
octagon. Have you seen it?
yeah, I'm here to fight Adam." That'd be hilarious. He should have. That would have been funny.
Yeah,
Oh,
just like a total punked situation.
right? I
And
would, because
oh
who's gonna
shit, oh
stop
shit.
him?
Nick, are you here? Are you here for me?
And yeah, he really did look like such a savage though. I told him that. I'm like, you just walk around in public looking like you just beat somebody up. He's like, yeah, pretty much. He's like, I'm going
Yep.
to train more after this. He's like, I just did jiujitsu. Now I'm gonna go do my kickboxing. So he's going so hard, dude. I can't wait. I'm actually filming the night that he's fighting, which
Oh
is
wow.
really
Okay.
cool. Like
So you're gonna be
I'm the cage
ringside.
side filmer.
That's what I
Like,
mean. Like you're gonna be right there filming.
yeah.
Cage side and everything, dude. I didn't know you did that.
Yeah, so I went to a fight because I sponsored Pete, and then I was just like, I really want to be like a part of the production crew. Like I feel like I really, 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 really love MMA. Like I'm obsessed with it. I just watch fighter interviews all the time and fights all the time, like literally more than anything. Like it's my leisure. So I was like, that would be really cool to get into this promotion where a lot of people are coming out of that are fighting in the UFC now, and like Randy Costa. I'm trying to think of a couple other ones. Obviously, like Joe Lozon, he's a local legend, but um, I was supposed to work security. I was supposed to be an usher, and because I asked too late and they said, we don't have a spot for you in the production crew. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm just going to go be an usher and
Well,
just
what can
see
I
if I
do
can.
then?
Yeah, exactly. Like, what can I do to get in there? Like, okay, I'll just
Yep.
go be the lowest thing possible. All right. Here we go.
Yeah. Just I'm telling you, I say that to people all the time. I say, if you want exposure to something, just be prepared to eat shit for a while and be cool with it, and you'll like be able to do whatever you want. Like be at an event like you're doing.
The best part about that is like that was one of the rare times in my life that the universe like immediately was like, "Oh, wow, you really were humble in that situation. Here you go." So I just so happened they got me into my position where I was an usher. Though you're gonna be here, make sure nobody's standing over here, blah 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 blah. And I'm just like looking down at the production team setting up, like, all right. And I just look down at my phone one more time before I get started, and I see a message from the dude that told me they didn't have anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And no, a call. Sorry, I saw a missed call, and I was like, "Ooh, what's this?" And I called him back. He's like, "Hey, are you here tonight?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm working security." He's like, No, 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 no." He's like, "I need you. Somebody's not here tonight. I need you to film." I was like, "Okay, cool." So I just like went down. I was like, "What do I tell him?" He's like, "Don't tell him anything. Just come see me. I'll talk to him." I was like, "Okay, whatever." And so I went down to go see him, and he's like, "All right, so you're filming cage side." And I was like standing on the thing, like 8 feet up filming. He's like, "Yes, that's what you're doing." I was like, "Oh shit!" Like, and I'm like trying to process in my head, like, okay, so I came here to be an usher, and then I get like the best position in the house,
Right.
like just literally
Immediately.
filming and I just was so caught up in the moment. I'm kind of afraid of heights too. So like I was dealing with that emotionally in my head. I was like, we're getting over this. Like it's only like 8 feet up. Don't be a pussy. Like just get
Mhm.
over it.
Right.
And I forgot to go pee. So I was getting all set up. I finally got everything good. And I'm like, hey guys, anybody want to let me down so I could just go pee before the event gets started? They're like, they're letting people in. I'm like, fuck. So I'm just
Yeah.
like, all right, we're holding it. I didn't know for how long it was gonna be. It was like 3.5 hours,
Ooh.
literally. Yeah.
So you
And
forgot you had to pee at that point because like once you got into it, you were probably
at some point between the
adrenaline flowing.
fights, I would start being like, ooh, ooh. Like I'd start looking at the cage, like I'll just crawl down the cage. Like great, the cage can support my weight, right? And then I'm like, wait, what if I break the cage in the middle of this? Like that would be so embarrassing. Like I don't know if it
Yeah.
can handle my weight. I'm just like all these things
Yeah.
going through my
All
head. And
that's
then the
going
fights get
through.
started, and I'm like, all right, I'm good.
Yeah.
It was a lot of work though, like more work than you think because
But did you have experience with those cameras at all?
um it was the
Was
same
it just
camera I
like point and
used.
shoot or?
Yeah, it was they used like a Canon, like a Canon camera.
Mhm.
And It was yeah, it was pretty simple. And they had a nice rig set up, so like where your handle was, there was a zoom button too, so you could like boom and then like pan in. They'd cut in into the angle, and I noticed that when there's like a big screen to my left, and like I wasn't always paying attention to it, but like I could catch it out of the corner of my eyes, and a lot of the times I saw it, it was my shot because I had like the perfect angle on it all night because it's just like it's like watching it like
Right.
perfectly. It's like the best thing in the world. So how could you not have the best shot?
Yeah, you
And then
want
I
to be
caught a
in there.
Charlie horse.
That's cool too, like because you're a fan of it, so you know what to be looking for as a cameraman too. Like you're like, if I
Right.
were to like as a fan seeing it through that lens, you're like, holy shit, I can do exactly what I want whenever I'm watching it on TV, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
You said you got a Charlie horse though?
Yeah, because I wasn't drinking water because I had to pee.
You got to pee.
You know what I mean? So I'm like,
It's like,
I like remember sipping a little bit of water and like swishing it in my mouth just to not have
like
dry
crunching
mouth.
ice cubes and shit.
I wish I had some ice cubes. That would have been dope. Babe, that's so loud.
Like
But step away. Um, but yeah, I caught a Charlie horse, and then eventually there was an intermission, and I got down, and then I realized I could just climb down the cage the whole time, like it could definitely support my weight. So now I
yeah,
know, but it was just funny. The rest of the night was obviously much more enjoyable after I emptied my bladder and like ate.
yeah,
I think I ate a little bit. I think I did. No, actually, I don't think I did. No, because I didn't have time after I had to wait in line to pee, and I thought about just being like, "No, I'm in production, just like let me through." I was
yeah.
like, "Ah, I'll just wait. I'm not gonna
I
be
got the
the
bag.
people are like amped up fights and shit. I'm like, I'm not trying to fucking
Yeah, believe it or not, as big of an MMA fan I am, I've never been to a cage fight.
really. It's
Never.
it's a different experience, man.
I know. I need to go. There's so
I,
many around here too. A lot of our local guys, they fight all the time that fight out of our gym or used to be in our gym. Like there's so many of them that I could go to. My buddy, he just moved out to Colorado, Jason Cassius Mullins. He moved out to Factory X out there.
mhm.
I can't remember exactly where at in Colorado, but yeah, he moved out there like a couple, well, not a couple. I think last January is when he moved out there. And yeah, he had a fight, ended up winning by decision, or was it by decision? No, I think he submitted him. I'm pretty sure he submitted him. And then he's fighting this weekend.
Hmm.
But it was funny. He started the fight with an Imanari roll. It's like, what are you doing, dude?
It's always such a funny move to me. It's man, that brings up bad memories because that was kind of why Pete lost his last fight. My buddy that I like sponsor and
Mm-hmm.
shit. He was fighting Chase Hooper. You know who Chase Hooper is.
No.
Do you remember that clip of Masvidal and this young looking kid comes up to him. He says, "Hey, I have a question for you. Why'd you do that to my dad?" And he looks like Ben
Oh
Askren.
yeah, yeah.
That's Chase Hooper. He was a real fighter. He was just really young. Like now he's in the UFC. So he was on like a good he was getting some buzz. He had a pretty good hype train behind him. And Pete was piecing him up the first two rounds. And at the end of the second round, he like hit an Imanari roll and just happened to like scoop up his ankle in a weird way that like made him trip and fall down. And he just caught him in a leg lock, and the clock kind of saved him. So it was like, oh shit, but I didn't know, and he didn't know like that hurt
Right.
Pete's knee like at that time. It like because he just cranked it as fast as he could because it was the end of the round. And then it got like in the third, and Pete was piecing him up again, and then all of a sudden he hit that Imanari roll, the same exact move, and actually leg locked him and got him to tap. Like it was, I was like, fuck.
Yeah. I'm telling you, because if you don't know how to get out of leg locks, it's pretty difficult.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a lock that like if you the way that you want to go is the way that you shouldn't go.
Right.
Because you want to like run away immediately, but when you run away, it exposes your heel. So that's when
Yeah.
they can it like scoops like into your armpit and then they turn it outward with your with your heel on their elbow. It's
That's
so
exactly what happened.
yeah, it's
It was
so
textbook.
devastating.
It was like perfectly textbook. Like
Hmm.
it was beautiful. I can't lie. It was really nice.
Just
It
sucks it when
was
it happens to your guy.
it really does. Like I was just sitting there
It
like,
makes it extra worse.
and I'm live streaming with my buddy watching it, and I'm just like, fuck, dude,
Yeah.
fuck. I was so upset, but I know he's gonna come back, dude. This kid's got such a heart, and he's like a good ass fighter too. So it's like it backs it up. He just needs to get back in the groove. And he his last fight was really good, and I disagree wholeheartedly with the judges, but I'm biased, so my opinion doesn't count. But he lost his last fight via decision. He was like fighting this wrestler kid, and he was again piecing him up, blocking every single takedown. I think he only got like maybe 3 or 4 takedowns. Like this kid's specialty was wrestling,
Yeah.
and there was
Who
one
Pete
point that
was? Or the
no,
other guy?
his opponent, yeah, and at one point Pete literally power bombed this kid. Literally, hold on, I need to find this clip, guys. I need to fucking find this
Just
clip.
drop him on his damn head.
He literally flipped. It was like WWE.
Oh my god. Yo, I did that tonight to a guy sparring. I gave him the old Lex Luthor. Do you remember
Oh
when
man.
Lex Luthor would like drop a guy on his knee?
Mm-hmm. Oh
I
yeah.
did that. I got underneath of him. It was so funny. And I
That's
was
fucking
able to lift
awesome.
him up and like just spin him. He's like just this big, tall. Um, you can't get inside of him. He's so long and lanky that he's just got to reach for days. And he'll
Mm.
do shit like just palm my head and keep me away. I'm like trying to come at him. But yeah, I'm able to kind of get in on him. And whenever I was able to get the clinch, that's whenever I just sort of had fun because somebody showed me the other day this one takedown where like you sort of like you get into their hips and then you get your hips really close to theirs and then you almost pick them up. You ever like pick up like a refrigerator or something? You ever try and pick one up?
Oh yeah. I
You're
used
like
to
you have to
move.
get your hips super close to it and then almost
Yep.
pivot it on top of you. That's what you do with this takedown. And then you can like just put your leg right in behind them and it completely makes their hips your hips and they become almost a pinwheel right on you. And it's wild how light somebody can get. And he's already just a string bean, so it was funny. But he
That's
whoops my ass. He'll pop me a couple times. I'm like, son of a bitch. Because his reach is like John Jones. It's huge.
holy shit.
Yeah, it's funny. I'd like to actually take a tape measure to him just to see how long his reach is. Because his arms and legs are equally long, I swear.
Ooh, I found it. What is his reach? Do you know?
That's why I want to tape. I want to know what it
Yeah.
is. It's got to
Oh, he's
be.
never had it taped.
I mean, he's probably no, because he's just like a crop guy. He's just doing it for funsies.
Ready?
Yeah. Oh, with the high crotch. But yay! Yes. Look at her face.
That's fucking. It's just so badass.
He hits him with that high crotch from. He's trying to do the legs, that single leg, but yeah, that'll work too.
Oh man. Yeah, that hurts the pride more than anything. You get
Yeah. So
flipped on your
go
ass.
back to that clip. Go back to that clip. You just wonder what that guy's even trying to do.
Yeah.
You
Like
know
how
what
do
I
you get
mean?
off how
He's
do you
not
get that off
trying.
balance that you get flipped around like that?
Well, he's not even like trying. He's no way he's going to connect his hands. So you just got to give up on that.
Oh, you
You
know
know,
what Pete did that I didn't notice? He flexed his thighs and like it pushed his hands forward, took him like way off balance. So he really just used the momentum of like his upper body to flip him. That was like all Pete. I really
Mhm.
think that's all Pete.
Oh, it absolutely was. Yeah, because see how he picks him up on that high crotch
Yeah.
and then puts his hips into him. That like makes him light, and
It
he's
just
able
made
to
him
pick
feel
his
hella
hips.
vulnerable. So I think he like probably flipped so he didn't land on his head, probably like out of instinct.
Oh yeah, But
He
he's
looks
got
like he'd be a good pro wrestler. He took a good bump there.
love that.
Yeah, Pete's a savage, man. Let's see. Does he have any training footage? Oh yeah, his UFC walkout shit. That's so cool. Man. Yo, the fights this weekend really are insanity.
Who's fighting?
Dude, Jan Blachowicz is facing Glover Teixeira. Peter Yan is facing why am I'm gonna blank on his name. No, I'm not gonna. Corey Sanhagen.
Oh, the
Um,
same.
yeah, for the interim title because Aljamain Sterling is out with surgery. That was a crazy thing too. Did you see that Peter Yan put out training footage of him training how to knee somebody in the face while they're down?
Yeah, because Sterling did.
Yeah. No, because Sterling got kneed by
Oh,
Peter Yan. Yeah.
oh, was
He's the
that
one
it?
who did it. Yeah. And he's
Oh,
just
because he got
trolling.
DQ'd, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And there was a huge thing as to even Sterling having the belt or whatever.
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah,
everybody's pissed off about it. What else is going on? Oh, Hamzat Chimaev versus Xi, Xi Lang, I think his name is Xi Lang, something like that. He's a Chinese fighter. He's really fucking good. Um, what's the other fight that's
I'll
gonna
tell
be
you
a
what,
bang?
they've been coming out with some real fire.
Yeah, they have. They really have. With Weili Zhang and then
Yeah,
this guy. Uh,
I think Whaley is. I mean, she could. What does she fight at? She's 25.
yeah, I think so. It's either 25 or 15.
Yeah,
I
you'd
don't
love
think
to
it's
see her pack
15.
on some pounds and maybe go for it.
Ah, I was close. Li Jinglang. Jinglang. Yeah, I was close. I said Jilang. I had his like last name. Um, and then Dan Hooker versus Islam Makhachev. That's gonna be a banger too.
I like
Um,
watching Dan Hooker.
yeah, he's probably gonna lose though.
You think so,
Yeah. Oh, we got a special guest.
Marcos? What's up, dude?
Pull him up. Uh-oh. Is your mic not working?
What's up? Get up, get up, get up, get up.
He's unmuted.
He's trolling us. That's a typical Marcos
uh,
move. He does
NF Daddy's doing NF Daddy stuff.
comes in, ruins the flow. Jeez Louise. Yeah, I love
how's
that dude,
how's
man.
uh how's your project going so far? How many sales do you guys have now? Like how many tokens have you
95.
sold?
We sold 90.
95?
We sold 95.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Congrats, guys.
crazy.
That is crazy. That is nuts.
Like we just pulled the funds out. We called the contract. So this is like backstory stuff. So whenever you do from a contract, it actually sits in the contract wallet until you call it. And then so we finally called it today because I looked at it 3 different times. I'm like such a baby about some shit because I'm looking at it and I don't really understand. Like the first time I ever minted from a contract was through NF Daddies. Like I had never done it before. So I minted from there, but then to call it, you have to go down to the bottom and it says review. And then after you hit review, it says write. And then whenever you write, it writes and sends your money to the last wallet that interacted with that contract. So the contract owner. Well, the contract owner was us, but it didn't say that in the actual coding. So I didn't really trust myself to like pull all those funds out because if we lost them, I would have been so
Liable.
sad.
Yeah.
So I had to wait for Durant, our dev, to like get back on, and he's like, "You're not gonna break it, mate." He's from the UK.
Not gonna break it, mate.
He's so smooth though. I love that guy too. Yeah, so the whole crew has been amazing. Like the community's been awesome. Like we're starting to like see some consistency. Early on, it was like, oh my God, I don't know what's going on. Like some people were in, some people were out. It's hot and cold, and then we have some consistency now, and we're building off of that consistency. And I think that's a lot of fun that we've all been having. And just the artwork has been cool. Seeing some of the derivative stuff that we've done, and then some of the drops that are coming out, like the Halloween drops are coming out, I think tonight or tomorrow. So if you have a daddy, you're going to get a Halloween drop here pretty soon.
Hey.
We just finished all that today. So we have our calls twice a week, just to get a touch point at the beginning of the week and sort of running into the end of the week to make sure that, because we have a task list, every one of us has a task list like 6 miles long. So we're just like continuously going through it and figuring, just road mapping all the time, constantly, and then ticking things off the box and like continuously going. So, like whenever you do group projects, there's like always somebody who just fucking sucks,
Yep.
Like, you're just like, son of a bitch, I wish this guy wasn't even on our team. Every one of these guys is the guy who usually you're like, holy shit, I can't believe you're doing all that work. Like, can I do something for you? They're all like that. And it's incredible. It has been absolutely incredible to watch these guys work their asses off and to see what we're creating with the collaborations that we're doing and just the relationships that have been being made. Like, I never in my wildest dreams would I think I'd be talking to some of the people we're talking to on the back end, because it's so funny, because whenever you actually launch a project, people actually will talk to you, as to before they wouldn't speak. It's kind of funny that way, but not to like toot our horn or anything. It's just reality is what's happening.
Toot away, man. Like
Yeah.
it's really awesome. Like I know how hard it is for an NFT project. Like mine's pretty stale on the sales, and it's hard to like, okay, what do I do? It's like I'm so fucking busy. How do I get this out and promote it all at the same time? I'm like starting a new full-time job. Like
Yeah.
but I haven't figured out the balance yet and like what's the next step. So when I hear that, I'm like, damn, these guys are fucking doing it. And I know why. It's because you guys are putting in so much work, and it does make it. I think sometimes when you have a good team, it really does make it not easier, but just easier to do, maybe.
It makes it so
And
much fun.
exactly, because you're not like sometimes some tasks that I have to do, I'm just like, oh fuck, man. Like I really don't want to update this little thing on a website that's going to take me 15 minutes. Like I just dread little tasks. I want to do something that I could dive into and spend hours on, and I don't know. Sometimes it just those little tasks start piling up because you're just like, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow.
I have this rule, man. If I can do it in 5 minutes or less, I do it right then. It's just like one of those things, because those little tiny tasks end up becoming like the mistake that costs you 2 hours in about 3 weeks. Because you're like, son of a bitch, I totally forgot about that because I was doing 1,000 other things. But if I would have just taken 2 minutes or 3 minutes just to reply to that email or just to fix that little thing, it saves you so much time in the long run. And I like to say that I try not to sweat the small stuff, but in terms of work material, I sweat the small stuff as much as I possibly can, because I've just, part of my job, like my day job, is selling technical equipment I sell high voltage technical equipment to utilities. Like, you make a mistake, it could be the wrong voltage, and those guys just waited 15 weeks for that product, and then it shows up and it's wrong. Guess what? You're done. You don't get a second chance. It's high it's pressure. You mess up one suffix and it's the end. Like, that's it. So it's one of those things that you have to sweat the small stuff sometimes and take that time, I think, not to get like preachy or anything. It's just that's one of those things that I've just had to learn over the course of time, because I used to just like let shit sit, and it would cost me. It cost me so many times that like finally you just say, okay, if I can do it in real quick, I'm just going to bang it out real quick. And then you have your other like bigger list that you work from and then fill in with all these things that happen during the day.
Mm. You see, my problem with that sometimes is that I do a little task and then I can do this little task. Ooh, what about this little task? Ooh,
Yeah,
what
the
about this
rabbit
little?
hole.
Yeah, I start going down the rabbit hole of all the little tasks I could have done, and I always feel good at the end of it, like
Yeah.
because I've accomplished 10 different things because they were all little tiny things that added up. But it's just like I got to get better at managing that without letting it build up, so that way it's just like not a stress at all. It's definitely getting better. It's definitely getting better. I'm still trying to find the balance of like I haven't worked a job in 4.5 years. So
Mm-hmm.
getting up in the morning, like getting ready, making your lunch so you don't have to spend money on food and like all that shit. And then like, our power
Definitely.
went out last night, so I had to like put gas in the generator and like make sure everything's working, and I spilled gas on myself and I gotta spray myself off. Like I'm just
Oh, I
it's just
hate that.
it was the worst. So it was just, and then I came in and luckily my fiance made made me lunch and everything. I was like, "Oh my god, thank you." I was like, "I did not have time to do that if you didn't if you didn't make it."
Uh-huh.
Um, so yeah, that's really cool, but it's been hard to find that balance and then working on. I usually come home after work, spend time with my daughter, like an hour or two
Mm-hmm.
maybe a day, and then start working when she goes to bed. And then it's
Yeah.
it's like I'm up all night, you know what I mean?
It's so hard, man. It really is so hard to find any balance at all. Honestly,
Mhm,
like it's like I always try and figure out how I can make it all work together.
mhm,
How to bring it all in together. So as much as I possibly can, just so there's a lot of crossover. So when I'm doing one thing, it doesn't feel like I'm taking from another. Um, and like having Alyssa involved in the NFT space, oh my God, like that really helps.
yeah. Yeah,
That
you
really
made a
helps a
post
ton.
about that, I think, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I showed that to my fiance. I was like, "This is like I really wish you would, honestly." And she's like, "I just don't understand it." I was like, "Neither did we until we did." Like,
Yeah.
and I still don't fully understand. I don't think anybody can really say they fully understand it, but like
Oh,
we
I
under
know, dude. I
it's
know.
always evolving, it's always changing, like so it's
I was listening to a thing today. So check this out. Did you see the big punk sale that happened today? It was like I don't
no.
know, 300 and something mil, or I can't, not 300 and something mil. I can't remember. Maybe it was like 3.5 mil. Anyhow, it was in the millions. Anyhow, there's this thing called a flash loan that you can
Mm,
get. Like you're able to. I guess they've been around for a long time, and I don't know the ins and outs of it. But I was listening to the Crazy About Crypto show, which I may actually still be logged into. I want to check. I want to check that. Yeah, I was. I got to X out of that. It ended. But anyhow, I was on listening to his show and they were talking about it, and they were talking about this flash loan that you can get. So you
mm,
just put up some money up front, you do the flash loan, so then you can get the massive amount of ETH. I think it was like 150 ETH is what it ended up being. And
crazy.
yeah, so they were able to buy the punk, flip the punk, pay the loan back, and take the profits, all with a smart contract. It was one transaction.
Hmm.
I mean, you're talking genius level shit right there. To me, that's genius level shit. Now I could probably talk to Stephen and Durant, and they're like, "Yeah, it's super simple. We'll probably be able to do that in a week." Like that's the shit. Honest to God, Adam. Whenever we're talking like ideas and things, and we're like, "How long is that going to take? Are we talking like 2024?" They're like, probably January.
Like, what?
I was like,
How?
how does your no? It has to be long. He's like, no.
Show me the ways.
Yeah, and then there was another thing we were talking about. He's like, oh yeah, probably like maybe a week or two, but let's just give me like 3 weeks, so just to make sure, then we'll test run it and shit. I'm like, okay, I love you guys. we come up with some crazy ideas, and they're working on it. So just like the Halloween drop. So one of the things that we did on the Halloween drop, this is really cool. So Steven, he ended up, I don't want to give away too many secrets, but he'd be fine with me talking about it, is he ended up writing a script that helped us automate the whole entire process
Really?
on Polygon. So I was just like, dude, this is so crazy. Yeah, it was really cool. It was like a copy paste thing, and he was, he goes, dude, I loved it so much because I was able to, like, it was like I was back in grad school or something, or back in college doing stuff. I'm like, you did this in college too? He's been doing it for, I don't know, probably 15, 16, 17 years at this point. And Durant's no joke either. He's been doing it for years. So, like, what these guys know in Web 2.0, they're just building off of, and they're just to the moon. Like, we're
Yeah.
talking about some games that we want to do, and he's like, oh yeah, that's like a slider game. I could totally do that. Like, I did that shit for fun. Like, that's crazy to me. Crazy. So you think about that. So you think about like a game like that. And how cool would it be to be able to sell that game to other Discords or other projects where all you had to do was plug and play different attributes or different pieces? Like, we would have the daddies, and then somebody else maybe has the camels, and then somebody else has the whatever, name that avatar, and you just kind of change the background. Subducks do it all the time. So to be able to monetize it, or even just do it as a utility for buying a daddy, that's like some of the shit that we're thinking about in terms of like project value and utility. Is how we can use our tools and give them to other projects so they can just plug it into their system, so you don't have to worry about, like, we're trying to really double down on the NFT Academy, so NF Daddy Academy, and we're doubling down on that piece to be just an educational slot. You can plug us in on anywhere, and we're just going to keep pounding that information. Just keep updating it. So bringing in industry experts, do shit like this, do interviews. And I talked to you about this before, like a masterclass style. I always call it like masterclass meets Barstool Sports meets Oprah is like what I'm going for. Like, that's the vibes that I feel whenever I talk about the project. Is it comes from a place of just genuinely wanting to help other people just achieve what they want to achieve, because it's a lot of fun.
Find your why.
Yeah, find your why.
Exactly. I love your project so much. I've been, man, every time I think about, like, because I applied for the PLP project, and every time I think about it, I'm like, could I go bigger than what I'm thinking? Like, just 4 little basic backgrounds of the forbearing farmer. I'm like, what if I did like buds, and they had like different attributes and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, instead, and like, and then my mind is like, well, what if I did that and I reapplied to PLP with a different plan? They like that better. Like,
Yeah. The thing about all of those games I love is, I think about it like this too, is you think about some of the biggest games out there, like like uh like Bejeweled or Candy Crush, like all of those like little puzzle games, they're so simple. It's not super complicated like a Final Fantasy or something like that.
yeah,
Like, it's very simple, just on your phone solving puzzles, and it's massively successful.
yep,
And if you ended up doing, one of the ones that I really like is any of the games where you have to like sort of stay after it and keep building, like a farm game or a battle game where you have to continuously upgrade and you
yep,
continuously check in and you get bonuses because there's chests or whatever. Those are the games that I think are just really neat. And then to be able to think of them in NFTs where you could actually help your guild by giving them things or they could buy things, so you could actually set up a marketplace and have people who just chop wood. So your place, everybody comes to for the wood because they know you
Right.
have it at the cheapest price because all you guys fucking do is chop wood, you know? So
Got that good wood.
yeah, you got that good. How much wood would a woodchuck chuck? Somebody was saying that the other day. Um, I listened to a podcast with Malcolm Gladwell. You ever
Mhm.
listen to Malcolm Gladwell?
No, no, never heard of him.
Very interesting fellow. He's his his I guess his company, you would call it, is called Pushkin Industries, and that's the name of his cat is Pushkin.
Pushkin, huh?
Pushkin.
What
So
the hell
check
does
him
that
out, Malcolm
mean?
Gladwell. But he had talked about how much wood would a woodchuck chuck, and he goes, we're putting too much pressure on the woodchuck. Maybe the woodchuck doesn't want to chuck any wood. Why can't you just let the woodchuck be? He just like goes hard in that. It was funny. It was
Oh
like a
my god.
commercial.
How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck? That's how I knew I was gonna be a rapper when I was a kid. When that wasn't challenging, I was like, "What do you mean? Why is that
Yeah,
challenging?"
I can do that in my sleep. Like, let me do it backwards.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude. This NFT world is really crazy. Like, I could have never imagined that. Like, I I have a V friend, and really thinking back to it, I should have at least 4. If I really would have played my cards right and followed through again on these little tasks of just like more research, but
Yeah.
it starts to be like when things pile up. Last year, I could have bought Ethereum for $289,
Yeah.
and I was trying to. I got onto a wallet that my buddy told me to get on, and I was trying to get it there. And then I was like, "Where do you buy this crypto stuff?" I'm like Googling it. Google didn't really have an answer, and I'm like, there's like ATMs that you could go to. I'm like, oh, so I got to go all the way up to Boston and go to a sketchy ATM and deposit money. Like, I don't know about that. And I could have just found a Coinbase or something like that and bought some Ethereum. I didn't until it was like 2000, basically.
Yeah.
And
Same.
when I think about it, I could have had 2 full Ethereum, which could, in theory, get me 3 or 4 VeeFriends for mint price. Like, for some of
Oh
them, they
yeah.
were so
Yeah.
it's when I think back to it, if I played my cards perfect, which, by the way, it would have been 100% of all the money I had in the world at the time. Like, I
Yeah,
was just gonna
and
get
that's totally irresponsible. You know what I
right.
mean? That's totally irresponsible to do.
Right.
Yeah.
But I had a feeling. I mean, I knew I was getting money in like a couple days, but I was like, this is, and then, a
Yeah.
week later it went up to like 350, and I'm like, oh, and then like it just kept going up and up and up and up, and I'm just watching it like, fuck, fuck, fuck. And then it's like
Yeah.
double, like less than a month later. I'm like, shit. So I could have just doubled my money. And there's sometimes where, again, I just wish follow through with those little tiny mundane tasks of just doing a little research or reaching out to people. Unfortunately, I didn't know, you know, the whole VeeFriends community back then.
Of course. And you know what? Like anytime that you try and look back and it's like, shit, wish I could have did, wish I.
Yeah.
And it's like I just don't like to live there because there's so many things that you could do differently. So
Mhm.
the way that I just combat that, and it's similar to what you do too, is like you just pay it forward. You're like, dude, check this out. And you just hone your skills and do shit like this, like us just talking about it. Somebody could stumble across it and be like, hey, I'm just gonna reach out to Adam because he went through this and I want to buy crypto and boom, he
Mhm.
knows how to do it now. So like just more people being in the space and speaking about it and doing educational material like a lot of people are because the onboarding piece of it is like it's everything. Like if the person doesn't have a favorable experience that very first time, they're out. Like they're just out,
Mhm.
because it takes a lot of guts to get out here and do this and to like kind of be on the fringe a little bit. And then to have an unfavorable experience, you're like, well, that wasn't worth it. Fuck it. I'm out of here. Like this, it
Mhm.
was already sketch to begin with because I wasn't familiar with all of the stuff. And now I had a bad experience. And that was one of the things that we super focused on was like, how can we make it so it's as frictionless as possible for
Yep.
people to get in. And I feel like we achieved that. Like it was a simple, quote unquote simple mint where we had the pre-sale and we pulled from a token on the pre-sale. The only way that you could get onto our website was with that in your wallet. And then if you had it in your wallet, you could mint at any time over the weekend. We gave you 3 full days to do it, just to make sure that like if shit hit the fan, we could troubleshoot it in the meantime. And then on Monday we shut it down in the morning. We revealed, public sale went live, and here we are. It was like so cool to go through the whole process of that. It was, I would have never understood what happened in such a short amount of time had I not gone through it with the team that we did. Just the way they were able to explain things to me and give me a really good understanding as to like even down to the artwork and how the layering process works and how Python works and how you run the script and how you get this JSON file. And I'm like, I'm learning a new language. This is so cool.
Yeah, the whole thing is a new language. It reminds me of uh 2009, 8. Yeah, that's when I graduated, not 2009.
Mhm.
I got accepted into a school for music, but my parents couldn't afford it. They didn't want to like do the FAFSA and be responsible for all this debt,
Mhm.
and I couldn't get it on my own without my parents' information. So I just went to a community college, and one of the classes I took was C++, because I was like, okay, so computer programming is definitely a thing. I should get in on this. This is a smart move, and I got in there, and I just couldn't. Like, I really, really, really wish I I could have, because then I would have known how to like build the computers to mine Bitcoin and everything like that. But
Yeah.
it just wasn't my thing, you know. And sometimes you can't force it to be your thing. um, so I definitely dropped that class, like, after, like, a month. It was, like, 2 months. I tried. I, like, genuinely tried, and I was like,
Yeah.
"I am learning nothing. This is not c going into my brain whatsoever. This does
Yeah.
not compute."
It's a
Just not
it
my
is
thing.
it's a different it is a really different brain to be able to do those things, I think. I just don't
But
think that
crypt
everybody's equipped to do the
Yeah.
coding side of things. I don't
No.
know.
No, not at all. I agree, and that's why I'm glad I'm finding a community that, like, I can understand. Like, the crypto community was the first one, and I tried to get into like forex day trading and everything on like gold, and I'm just it was cool because it was like going to the casino,
Yeah.
but like it wasn't doing it for me. And now if I kind of would have stuck with it, the group I was with, they came up with like a amazing bot for the trades, and they're fucking making money. They put up the screenshots like every day. And I'm like, damn, guys, all right, you guys are busting. I like it, but it just wasn't my thing. Again, like, I just was like, I
Yeah.
don't want to sit in front of a computer and stare at it like this.
Well, and see that's
Now.
that's the other part of it too, isn't it, Adam? Is some people are about how many coins can they get? How
Mm-hmm.
much money can they get? And listen, nothing wrong with it. Nothing
Nope.
wrong with it at all. But if that's not what drives you, then that's not what drives you. I mean, you can't really change that part of you. Like you can try and fit it in, square peg round hole, but it just
Mm,
doesn't fit. um and that's sort of how I get with the coins too, is like it's cool, like whenever you look at it and you're like, oh, I'm up, oh, I'm down, oh, I'm up, that's kind of cool. But i don't I don't interact with anybody around it. What are you going to talk about? You're going to talk
right.
about how high the price is going to get, how low it's going to get. You're going to talk about the markets, like, can I get any more boring? Like
Yes.
I don't love those conversations, but I do love the conversations about artists and the conversation about why they wrote what they wrote, or why they illustrated the way that they did, and why they used these types of colors, and why they did it whenever their mom died. And I want
Mm,
to hear that story behind it. I don't get that with coins. I get that with art. And that's what I love. I love stories. Like, look at us. This is what I love doing. It's so much fun. My whole job
Yeah.
during the day is telling stories about products and solutions and innovative ways to solve problems. It's all a big puzzle. And that's, to me, that's a lot of fun.
Mm.
And it comes with these cool stories that you get to tell, you know? Even with the products, like I make stories about the products because what what we do is like we're the backbone of everything. Like if you don't have
Mm-hmm.
electricity, you don't do anything. So to be involved in that infrastructure, and I feel like a sense of responsibility to give my customers like the very best, so I don't bring bullshit around, you know? So
Mm-hmm.
whenever I'm talking about something, it's like it's because I truly believe that it's the right thing to do. And that's the part that I think, if you find something that you can just be driven by, you'll love
Mm-hmm.
it. And that's why I think that we resonate with this space, is because you're very similar in that respect. From what I can tell, is like you love story too. You love being able
Yeah.
to, and you love other stories. Like you love everybody's stories. You know what I mean? And you are genuinely curious about people and want the best for them. You do it with, you, whenever you were on the podcast, you say like bringing them under your wing.
Mm-hmm.
You love doing that. It's a lot of fun because like you've gone this far. So if you can bring somebody with you and then just like you go,
Yep.
you go forward, and then you just keep doing that. It ends up being, whenever you help others achieve their dreams or you help others make money, like you just never have to worry about that stuff.
People
It'll
get
just
so
come
scared,
in.
especially in this space. Like my buddy Eric, my partner in the Terra Apothecary thing.
Mhm.
He's working his way into the crypto space, and I got him to sign up for Coinbase, and I was like, just start with $100. Like you have
Yeah.
it. It's not gonna kill you if you lost it. Let's figure out what you could put it on. Right now, everything's kind of popping, so it's not a good time to buy, but
No.
maybe it is on some stuff because, like
On
Shiba,
NFTs, it
dude,
is.
I've been riding the Shiba train for a little bit. I threw $200 that I didn't care about at it like
You're
six
doing good
months ago
now.
or something like that, and then it fucking just tanked, and now it's worth 3 times that much. Now it's like
Yeah.
almost $600. So I'm like, okay, I'll just keep riding this train for a little bit longer. Let's see what happens. Like,
Do I have to log into this to do comments?
um,
I think I
I don't
do.
know.
Sign up. I wanted to chaotic mango. I wanted to say hello.
Oh, he's probably still watching. Uh, he's such a fucking supporter of like everybody in the community.
I know he's awesome.
You need people like that. Like there really are so many people like that in the community too that are just like, I'm gonna buy like everybody that I can's NFT.
Yeah.
I really try. I try my hardest. Like I bought some Eternal Royals,
Yeah.
and
Same.
so fucking dope. Love those. Obviously bought the NF Daddies. I have one of the Guardians of the Underworld. I have I have a few people like Max sent me some an NFT, Max the Miata. And then damn, there's a lot of people's projects that I have in my wallet because Choopy Doodles. I have that too. I have Blue Dream. I love that art piece. Uh yeah, I got everybody. Ron dropped out. He'll be back. Oh, it says he's signing up. That's why. It just took him completely out of here on me. Well, Zane. I have some of Zane's art. Jeremy. How could I forget about that? Uh, who else?
I'm an
signed
idiot.
you signed you up and pushed you out.
Yeah. What a crap situation that is.
Yo, this was an NFT I bought that I'm not even sure why I bought it. Let's see if it'll zoom in.
Are those bacons?
Yep.
They're bikini bacon, or no, those are fanny pack bacons.
Yep. Yep, with gold chains and sunglasses. I don't even really like bacon, but my favorite number is 28.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like scrolling and I saw this stupid thing. I think it was like, what is it? Point, hold on, 0.0012. So I
Nice.
probably spent more on gas than I spent on that. And I was like, whatever, fuck it, I'm doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know
Somebody
why.
was telling me the other day, because there's always a question about what you should price your project at,
Hmm.
and they were talking about 0.07 is the price because of you want it to be able to offset the gas if you do resell it or something. They were talking, so
Mm,
that's why one of the guys he had a project. It was like 0.035, and he was like, the whale that was talking to him. And this is like he could be talking shit. Who knows? Because that happens all the time. He was like, I would have bought your whole project if it was 0.07, but because of the 0.035 or something, he's like, it's just too low. It's like, oh,
mm,
that's interesting. So that was a neat little tidbit. We just sort of randomly came out with 0.07 because
same.
it was kind of comparable to what was being done out there.
Hmm.
It just sort of wanted to fit in, I suppose. And based on what we wanted to build out, we were trying to figure out rough dollar amounts of what things were going to cost,
Yep.
and that's about where we ended up. And that
That's
was when
cool, man.
ETH was at 2,600, 2,800, something like that. So we're doing quite well now.
Yeah. Very much so.
I
It's
was like, I was telling the guys, I said, dude, we could go Mr. B style and buy somebody a fucking car.
right.
Like we could legit buy somebody a car if we wanted to, like just a cheap car, like a $5,000 car. You know what I mean? Like something that's pretty nice, but to totally change somebody's life.
Facts. Shit, if you ever have a contest for that, I'm entering.
Yeah,
Yeah, I feel like we can do some major things with our with
exactly.
NFT projects for sure. The one thing for me that really sucks for me is that the environmental impact of NFTs is not very good. It's really not very good just because of all the computer equipment that gets wasted and never ever breaks down, and
Hmm.
it's no good, but I know that it won't be like that forever. So that's why I'm super bullish on it, and I'm just trying to calculate that into my carbon offsetting plan. And it sucks because it's a huge detractor, but it's something you got to deal with and push through because NFTs aren't going away.
Yeah, yeah.
They're
They're
only getting more
more.
popular.
They just seem to be getting more popular. But I do. I always. I always. I don't want to say always, but I think about your efforts and your project so much because I think it's the work that you're doing is so important because I've talked to and I've been around. We insulate a lot of the equipment inside of substations with SF6 gas, and
Mm,
we sell a camera that actually detects that gas. So they're proactive in trying to, eliminate those VOC gases, but they're not perfect. And this time of year, especially this time of year, and in the spring when things are sort of contracting and expanding because of the
mm-hmm.
weather change, those gaskets can't keep up. Whenever you have a brand new rubber band, it springs back really
Yep.
easy. But when you have one that's been pressed for years and this pieces of equipment lasts for 15, 20 years, some of this stuff,
Wow.
even longer, you hope. But the same gasket is in there until they replace it. Well, whenever this stuff starts to, contract and expand, well, that SF6 gas will come out. It'll start to come out and they'll lose it. Well, that goes into the atmosphere. They have to actually, every time that they have a leak of a transformer or they have a leak inside of a bushing or anything that's SF6 related, they are actually, every bottle of SF6 gas is mandated and regulated. So when they go through bottles, they know how much they've used by like a federal regulation. It's insane. So the cameras that we sell that are detecting those gases, it's to be more proactive in that. But it's still, I mean, it's not a perfect science.
How are they offsetting it?
There's they're not. They're not offsetting
Yeah.
it. I mean, they're doing now. I say that they're not. There are also parts of the utilities that are totally focused on sustainability and those efforts. So
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that they're not, but those guys in particular, they're not like there's not a piece of the substation that's covered in hemp plants, to offset it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But they do have efforts in the utilities that are really focused on sort of forward-looking technologies, renewable technologies, sustainability. Like the utilities are pretty legit. I got to hand it to them. The ones that I've been working with for the years and years I have, the larger corporation ones, they understand. They get it. They're doing their damnedest to do the infrastructure the right way. And anything. I went out to Nebraska to one of our manufacturers. We did a destructive test on a tangent structure,
Mm-hmm.
which it's like a big H-frame structure, and it's got those big cross braces in the middle. You see like a clear cut down the forest,
Yep.
and it's those pieces of equipment. Well, what they were doing is they were mimicking 300-mile-an-hour winds to the side. So if you think about an ice storm, they were mimicking an ice storm in a hurricane. It would never happen. Like as what they were, that's more or less what they were saying, is because these things are called safety factors. So they're rated for 90 miles an hour. Like that's engineered. It's all good to go. Typically that's good enough. Well, they over engineered to make sure that shit's gonna last
Forever.
for as long as humanly possible, and it's usually 60-70 years on that stuff, before they have to even think about replacing stuff. So that's why I think utilities are so structured and so they're non-volatile. Like if you wanted to invest in a company that's not volatile, like up and down, that's just like almost like a stable coin,
Mm-hmm.
utilities are awesome because they stay right in the pretty much the same zone. And the reason why I bring up going to Nebraska and watching that destructive test was one of the slides that they did in their presentation during dinner was they showed the volatility of like oil and corn and soybean, and it's just all over the place.
Yep.
But then you look at electricity and it was just kind of stayed right in the middle. And it's because we maintain reliability and we don't have so much change back and forth, which is good and bad, because like whenever there's innovation to happen, it's slow to adopt. But when they do adopt, it's because they vetted the shit out of it.
Right.
So they've been like, you know what? Yeah, boom. But that's why it takes so damn long to get anything approved. I mean, you're talking 3-4 years sometimes before they even like, okay, yeah, let's have a meeting.
What the fuck?
So
I'll meet with you in 3 or 4 years.
Oh, they'll meet with you in the meantime. Like, don't get me wrong. Like they'll still have meetings with us, and we'll continue because we have tons of different products. So it may not be that solution, but we're talking other stuff. But yeah, I mean, some shit. LED lighting when it first come out, like that's how I cut my teeth in this industry was LED lighting.
You were selling that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I started selling. What's that?
No, good. I was going to ask you how you're selling it, and you were already answering it.
Yeah, so I was an outside sales representative for Wesco Distribution is who I worked for. And I ended up starting as the warehouse guy, as like an intern, like a paid intern at the warehouse.
Yep.
And I worked my way up into an outside sales position, and there was just so much shit I could have sold as a distributor. Like I could have picked anything, but I just saw an opportunity with LED lighting. Like it was new. Not many people were talking about it, but it just seemed like something that was going to pick up. There was enough people talking about it that I was like, this is kind of cool. It gives me like something different to talk about than all these other guys. Like they're not going to touch this technology. So I went around, honest to God, Adam, I went around with my little cardboard box with it's called a Cooper Caretaker. I walked into every single one of my customers and I put it on the desk and I said, what do you guys do for outdoor lighting? I'd love to show you this LED light that we have. And then boom, we got into conversations. But I had one guy, I'll never forget him. He just passed away not too long ago. He was amazing. And if it weren't for him, I probably would have never had like the confidence to go to other customers and sell this thing. But he immediately saw the value and bought, like probably within a month or two. And I was like, holy shit, like I did it. I fucking did it. You know,
Right.
I sold that thing, you know, and that just gave me the confidence to be like, yeah, I could probably do this other places too. And you
Were you
just
doing like door to door, or was it like appointment based?
it's all appointment based. So it's all with, I cut my teeth on public power. So it's more of like and this is where the co-op always comes into play with me. I always think co-op all the time because what happened was back in, I think I'm going to get the date wrong, but early 1900s, a bunch of farmers got together collectively to buy power because they needed power for their farms, but they couldn't afford it individually, but collectively they could. And that's how the electric co-op started, is they just started as farmers who became linemen and then created this electrical grid that now, I mean, it powers tons of rural areas, you know?
Yeah.
So that's where the position that I had taken over already had, it was nice because it already had a customer base that they were approved to call on. So I already had like a list to work. Like that was my list that I was able to work. And I just went through and I was able to make appointments. And this is what I would tell them. I'd call them up and I say, hey, I'm the new guy. I'd love to introduce myself. If you have a couple minutes, I'd love to swing by just to get you my card, get you my information, let you know what we have going on. And I couldn't believe how many people were like, yeah, come on over. Yeah, come on over. Come on in. Everybody. It was so cool to just be received in that way. Because now listen, I also spent probably, I don't know, a year on the inside sales too. So I knew the warehouse, I knew the shipping, and it was all because this she'll kill me, but Liz, she was unbelievable to me. She made me enter orders, go pick the order, and then go ship the order. All like from start to finish, made me do the whole entire thing. And like several times, like from your computer, you print this, you go out to the warehouse, you pick it from the warehouse printer, you look where you have to pick it from, you go to the warehouse, you get the material, you ship it, and then boom. And then you make sure that you follow up on the paperwork. And
So you had to ship the light out yourself?
yeah, the first couple of times she would like make me do the entire process.
Oh man, talk about like humble positions, huh? Like you could sell, but you have to do everything in order to sell.
It was awesome. Like it was so awesome. And I'll never like be above doing a job just because of that. Because just like you did with the ushering, I just wanted to be involved. Because early on, my grandpa always told me, he said, all that you need to do is get out of here, go to school, and work for the gas company and the electric company. He said, you always have a job. And I said, all right. So I did it.
Yep.
I went to school and I ended up working with both gas company and electric company in my position now. So it's like, he was right.
It's like prophetic.
It is. He is like the more, like the older I get and the more like shit that I go through, I realize like so much more about him and his behaviors. That he was just such a fucking cool, he's still a cool guy.
What do you think is something you picked up from him that's like part of your behavior patterns?
Man, I think just the desire to be in a at least a stable position for other people that want to be a little bit, I don't know, riskier or whatever. Like
Mm.
I just have this stability piece of me that I really want to maintain all the time. Because when I was growing up and going through all the things that we went through as kids, and my parents being divorced and my mom having like the alcohol issue, and just my family in general having a lot of mental health issues that we were all dealing with. And but we were always able, no matter what, despite like where my mom wanted to move us to, like which dude's house we were going to be at, we were always able to go back to my grandpa's place. Like no matter what
Yep.
happened, we always had a place to go. And I always remember that, just being able to rely on him. As much as like, I don't know, I
Mm.
didn't really hang with him like my littler brothers did, but like I still respected the shit out of him.
Yeah, that was like me and my nana. Like my nana was really like my solace, like my place of solace. I love
Mhm.
my grandfather a lot. Like don't get me wrong, he was a funny guy, but he wasn't. He always left to go play pool at pool halls, and like he was always a pool shark.
Yeah.
And like we were always just with my nana a lot, and my nana was the type of person that would just like come here, sit on my lap, and like just cuddle you and like give you love while you're watching some kind of silly cartoon with her.
Yeah.
Like Courage the Cowardly Dog. I remember watching that a lot over there, and. It's like no matter what's going on in life, it's like that's my place of like nothing else matters except that. And when you lose those people, it's definitely hard to like redefine yourself. Like my nana passed away 10 years ago almost. It'll be 10 years this year. And it's crazy to think about how lost I was at first, like completely lost. Like it was like I lost part of my identity. I was like, wait a second. Like my rock, my only piece of stability throughout all of 21 years of living is gone.
Yeah.
What do I do now? It took me like 3, 4, 5 years to even like start to get back on track. I just went down such a bad path, just drinking a lot and following in my family's footsteps. Like all the shit I said I would never do.
Hell
I
yeah.
started doing it, and it's like, okay. Then I had kids, and that was a blessing. So it
Sure
kind of
is.
like made me stop being so wild and, like you're saying, be more of like the stability. Like I haven't talked to my dad in a few years now, probably 3.5 years, unfortunately, just because of his ego and shit. But um one of the things that he said to me before we stopped talking that really, really, really set in was like, Adam, you have to have roots set somewhere. Like you can go do this other stuff, you can go travel and do all this crazy stuff. You have to have roots somewhere to come back to. And you know, it was tough to hear that because it's like, oh, that root was always my nana. What do I do now? What the fuck is my root? And it just like became, it really did become my kids, and that's what rooted me here and in the area and staying around the rest of my family, like
No
just
doubt.
having kids. And now I'm like, okay, let's buy land, let's build a house, like let's
Yeah,
fucking
let's
do the damn
fucking
thing.
double down.
Yeah. Yeah, like let's double down, exactly. Like let's buy enough land for the whole fucking family. Everybody gets an acre, you get an
Isn't that
acre, you
funny
get an acre.
whenever that flip switches for you though, how you want to be that. I don't know if everybody goes through this whenever they become a dad, or like whenever they find that like you're talking about, when you find your root. I
Hmm.
don't know if everybody does it, but like you just want, like I went through it where I was like, I want to invite everybody for Sunday dinners and shit. Like I want us together. We don't get it together enough. We're a fucking
Yeah.
family, you know? Like how do we get over ourselves just to like, let's just be a family. Let's support each other. Let's talk to each other on a consistent basis, you know? The things that you're normally supposed to do. But whenever you grow up and you don't have that model, you're
Hmm.
like, you don't really know how to do it,
Exactly.
you know? That's why I'm so grateful for my mother-in-law. Was is like, she's incredible. She always sends Christmas cards, birthday cards, anniversary cards. You know, she's just so old school like that. But you know, it makes you feel appreciated and loved. And one of my former colleagues did the same thing for all of his people. He would always get them a birthday card, always. No matter what, they got a birthday card. Like it didn't matter if they were there for a day, 10 years, whatever. Like it makes you feel good.
Yeah.
You know, it's really cool. But yeah, you just want to, whenever you find that root, and then losing that root is something like you have to find yourself again at that point.
Yeah, it's like cutting down a giant oak tree and then starting over with a little acorn. Like it's exactly what it is. Like you have to plant this though. Like you can't just hold it and look at it. You have to plant this, and
Yeah,
it comes with
like,
no instructions,
but
but
I
you're just
don't know
looking at
where to
it like,
plant it.
what do I do? Where's it going to be the best place to grow?
Yeah,
It's 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 definitely tough. I mean,
it's funny. I picked up an acorn one time, and it was so fucked up. I don't even know why I thought about doing this, but I picked it up, and it was on a trail run, and I ran with that thing for like 5 miles because I wanted it to go from where it was to where I wanted it to go. I like I didn't know why I picked it up and why I took it to where I took it, but whenever I tossed it, like I felt like that was the right thing to do. It was so weird. Like right now, I remember where I tossed it. I know
you gotta.
exactly where I tossed it.
Have you ever checked to see if it's growing?
It was just recently, and I wouldn't
Oh,
even
okay.
know. I wouldn't even know if it grew 6 feet around what it was. I don't know what I planted. I don't even,
It's
but
usually an oak tree.
but what happened is that was the same day that I ran with only one sock on. For that, I ran it was like 13 miles, and I just had to get the run in, but it was early in the morning, and whenever I went out, I had dropped one of my socks getting into my car because I wear slides, and then I change into my shoes.
Yep.
And I get to the trailhead and I have one sock. And the trailhead's like, I don't know, 15 minutes from my house. So I'm like, okay, I could go back, come back, but I was on a tight time schedule and I needed to make sure that I ran the amount of miles that I needed to. So whenever I went, I did an out and back and I did whatever 6.5. And whenever I changed my shoes, like I took my shoes off to change the sock because I was getting a blister, and that fucking seed was right there. And I just picked it up and I ran with it. I have no idea why.
Maybe it kept your mind off the chafing that was happening with your
Yeah,
ankles.
because it was like in my hand, and I just was like, what if I just kept this thing warm? It was such a weird, visceral like reaction to that thing. But I was like, I need to keep this warm and I need to take it somewhere else. And I don't know why.
That is so weird.
It's so
That's
weird.
I feel like that's something somebody would do when they're like on mushrooms. Like, I gotta take
Yeah.
this acorn and run with it.
Yeah. And I definitely wasn't. Dude, the one time that my buddies were all doing mushrooms, it made me never want to do them because I went over to their place and we were going to the basketball game, the high school basketball game. After we were going to hang out for a bit. We were all meeting at my buddy's house, and then we were going to go to the basketball game. Well, I didn't know that they were all like getting high and stuff. Like, all right, well, I'll just sit here and watch you guys for a little bit until it's time to go. So they were all doing the mushrooms, and like the one guy's like he's watching this stop sign. He's saying that it's melting off the wall. The other guys are like listening to music. The one guy is like kind of freaking out a little bit, trying to go out the window, and like everybody's trying to stop him from going out the window. I was like, all right, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna go to the game because it's time to go, and you guys aren't going. So I'm gonna go. So I go to the game, and dude, they showed up. They ended up showing up to the game. I couldn't believe it. They were
Still
like
high as shit.
blitzed out of their minds.
Yeah.
But yeah, that like scared me to death, and I've just never partaked.
Dude, it's fucking crazy, right? Like I was over one of my friend's house because his mom was, not doing good, and she unfortunately passed away. But one of our friends came over the night that she was passing away, and he like shows up and he's like, I just ate like 6 grams of mushrooms. I don't know how the fuck I got here, but
Here I
I'm
am.
here, guys. What's going on? Who could I make feel better? And he's just like, this shit was so epic, dude. Like I'm just looking at him like the one time I've ever actually like really tripped. There's no way in hell I could have driven. Like I was in the passenger seat and not okay. Like I remember one time at one point I looked down a street and there was a car coming and it was at night and the headlights like it felt like it was like so far away and it felt like it went like right into my face. I'm like it's fake, it's fake, it's fake, it's fake. It's like
It's all an illusion.
my friend's dog's face. She has this like giant black dog, and it turned into this like black scaly dragon, and it's like head detached from its body, and was like roar, roar, roar.
Yeah.
And I'm like just telling myself again, like it's okay. This is just Dionysus. This is just the dog. Pet the dog, and I'm feeling the fur, but I'm seeing the scales, and it's so fucking weird.
That's so wild. You know, like
And
you think about archaic paintings and shit like that,
mm,
where you're talking about like the Sphinx and all that shit.
yeah.
I mean, that's got to be a hallucination, right? I mean, it's not a
Maybe cats are like the highest regarded beings in the world. I was looking for my cat to grab him, but he's not
I
laying
know.
over here.
Yeah, my cat, I need to brush her because she got like a knot on her back. I don't know what the
Uh,
hell she gets into sometimes, but she's a sweetheart. We call her Reese. She got the smallest head in the world. Let me see if I can get her up.
I do think that the psychedelics have been used throughout history, though.
There
Oh,
she is.
she's a chunka.
Oh yeah. Look how small her head is.
I know. She's like,
I
stop
know.
making fun of me live on camera, Dad. What the hell?
Sorry, sweetie. Yeah. She's
That's
got
a
the
funny
smallest
dude.
head in the
Like
world.
they're sometimes I'm just like, what the fuck are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
why are you running around at 2 a.m. chasing each other? Like you've been laying down all day. What the
Yeah.
fuck?
This is when the trolls come out.
Yeah. They're turning to gremlins. Don't feed them
Yeah.
after midnight. That's fucking awesome. Domesticated animals are kind of funny to me. It's just like we took these wild creatures and made them so domesticated that they're like reliable on us now.
Mm-hmm.
And like they've taken over and fucked up whole ecosystems by killing birds and mice and everything.
Right.
There's so
I
many
mean,
wildcats.
you think about it though, they figured it out. Like the dogs
Mhm.
and cats, they're smart as shit. They're like, hey, listen, if we're really nice to that animal will take care of us,
Yep.
and we can chill
Yeah. We can
and
have a
get
warm house. We don't have to sleep
yeah.
in the snow.
We can go into their house. if
Have
if
you been near their
if we
wood
just
stove? It's
remain
hot.
if we just remain calm around them and not eat them, they won't eat us. Like that's so fucked up.
Right? And meanwhile, you have cows and chickens that are like, "We've never hurt you guys. Like, why are you
Yeah.
eating?
Why do you keep
Why do you keep eating
Dude,
us?"
it's the fucking saddest thing in the world whenever I'm traveling down the road and I just see the all the pigs like in the thing and they're painted and I'm like, oh god, you're going to the slaughterhouse. This is
Oh
so sad.
man.
Because that whole entire side of Ohio is just like pig farms. There's just
Mm-hmm.
so many pig farms on like that almost to Indiana side
Yep.
is so much farmland that you just go up and down and it in the summertime it is so bad. It stinks. Like
Do we?
the sludge ponds that they run that they clean out their pens and it
So
just
bad.
all runs down into that. Oh my gosh.
So bad for the environment.
Oh, those leach beds are nasty for the environment.
Yep.
And if they, I mean, they try to keep it out of the watersheds and all that, but it's almost impossible.
Yeah. Yep. It's impossible. And it smells so bad for like miles and miles and miles and
Yeah.
miles and miles. Like it's
And you
not
can
just
never
like
like build on that again.
never. Never. Not maybe not for like 1,000 years. Like if
Yeah.
you stop putting sledge into it, like maybe, and you started building stuff around it, but ugh.
Yeah, it's bad.
awful, dude. And
I
you
just
know
wonder
what's
if we
fucked
could
up
like
is they have
concrete
those
it.
sledge things on the top of human dumps too. Like the dump here in Taunton, apparently at the top of it, there's a human sledge pile. Like, so it's all like the fucking shit from the sewers that gets dumped at the top of the dump. And I'm like, what the fuck? What are we even doing here?
Yeah. Yeah, the landfills are they're wild. They're
Mhm.
actually like when I found out that you had to vent the methane so it didn't blow up, made my head spin. And it's like it's a science to make it happen and to
Mhm.
vent them the right way and to keep the levels right so it all decomposes the right way. And it's incredible. That whole entire process is incredible. And that was before I met you. Like, so I was already thinking like this stuff's incredible. And then I meet you, and then you're like working with landfills to do the carbon sequestering. And I'm like, dude, yes, this is exactly what needs to happen. And then you can also use some of the byproduct to filter out the fucking water and all that
Mhm.
stuff that's coming out of there.
Yep.
So
And there's been studies that have shown that hemp can grow with toxic water. Like it's just okay. It just does its thing. It's fucking weird. Like a professor that I've been talking to, he did a study on it and he found that I think it was like 9 out of 10 of the plants survived in the toxic water. Like just kept sucking up all the PFAS, which is like all the waterproofing and Teflon type of stuff that's all over everything. It washes
yeah.
off and then ends up in our bloodstream, and that
And what's it
causes
called? PFAS.
cancer. What's that?
PFAS, you said.
Yep, PFAS, PFAS, polyfluoroalkyl substances.
And is
They're
that like is that on everything? I mean, all the
it's
polymers or
Yeah, it's on a lot. Most pans, I would say, and it eventually wears off. In a lot of like the food containers and everything, there's PFAS, especially like the cardboard ones. That layer of protection between the cardboard and the food is
yeah, like
PFAS
the
usually.
glossy piece.
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
So it's all over a lot, and it'll break. The cardboard will break down, and then so will the PFAS into the soil, and then into the groundwater, and then into our bloodstreams. It's just they say that PFAS is in 98% of Americans' bloodstreams. It's incredible.
It's amazing what we do to ourselves, isn't it?
Yeah,
You know, like just for convenience and abundance
honestly,
too, you know, just yeah.
I feel so much better since like it's super inconvenient, but we have a filter that filters out everything. When you test this, it's 0 ppm every time. Like it's distilled water. And
Really.
then you reintroduce the minerals and it pHs it and everything. So you have the good minerals, the electrolytes that you need, but you get rid of the arsenic and lead and even fluoride. It literally gets rid of everything. And ever since we switched to that, I feel like a different human being. Like I used to have stomach pains every single day, migraines every day, like just it's crazy. My stomach problems, especially, I feel like I've gotten better since I've been drinking way cleaner water. And I
Yeah.
drink it, as you guys have all seen on this show a billion times, out of a metal canteen. So it's like,
Yeah.
or
I drink
stainless steel.
I drink out of this thing. So this is like a reusable gallon. And
Oh, yeah.
it says what's it say? It had something on the actual thing where it had like no BPAs or something like that. I don't know what that means.
Hmm.
But I've been using this freaking bottle. I use it in this jug hugger.
Uh,
So
Jug hugger.
when I drop it, it doesn't break.
Uh, oh, is it like a hard plastic?
Yeah.
Oh, BPAs are phthalates. Phthalates.
So I've been using this thing for. I used to use a metal one. It's just not enough water. and then whenever I fill it with enough water, it was just so heavy.
Hmm.
This, like the gallon jug, just kind of stays. Maybe they make a stainless steel gallon jug. That'd be cool.
They do. They definitely do. I've seen them. I've almost bought one. Mine is a
Really?
half gallon. The one I have.
Let me see this stainless steel gallon jug.
I want to find like a copper gallon jug.
Why
copper
copper?
infused copper infused water is supposed to be really good for you.
No shit.
Yeah.
You see, that's massive. Wow.
Super massive.
This is so massive. Anyhow, taken away from the combo. Yeah, dude.
No.
Like drinking water is, I think it's one of the most underrated health things that you can do for yourself.
Yeah.
Just so simple. Just drink more water. Even if it's like the shitty water, you know, you don't want to be drinking garbage. You don't want to be drinking out of a puddle, but like most water that you can get, at least in the United States, is all right.
Right.
And drink more of it, and I feel like you'll have less headaches. Your body will just feel better because you're more lubricated. I mean, you're made out of water, so putting more in can't be bad.
Yeah, I mean, I was drinking a lot of water before that, bottled water. I would drink like between 4 to 6 bottles of water a day,
Mm-hmm.
and I still had stomach issues and stuff. But that's it's honestly a realization I'm having right now that like my stomach issues have gotten better, especially since we switched over.
That's good. Now,
Um,
what is it like? Reverse osmosis?
it goes through like 3 different big filters. The filters are like this thick, fucking
Yeah.
gigantic. Pulls everything out, and then like you're left over with the water that's crap and the water that's good. They're separated into 2 different containers, and it's incredible. Like I've tested it quite a few times, and it's always 0 ppm, 0 ppm, 0 ppm. I'm like, perfect. That's exactly what I want.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of wasn't even expecting it the first time I did it. I was like, oh, somebody gave us some colloidal silver that they made, and I was just looking at it. I'm like, it doesn't look right. And I tested the ppm of it, and it was like 3 ppm, which colloidal silver should be like 15.
What's colloidal silver? I don't even know what that means.
Oh, so colloidal silver is like you take silver, you'll take like a silver rod, and you put it in water, and you electrolyze the silver rod in water, and it's slow with very, 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 very low wattage, and it slowly breaks down the silver into the water molecules. And
Okay.
I've taken it. You know, there's some articles that say you could turn blue if you take it. I've taken it for years and I've never turned blue. I think if that guy was turned blue, he probably made it too high a ppm and drank it by the bottle. I don't. I take it very sparingly, but I've taken it for like colds and flus and stuff like that, and it works really well for that. It's supposed to be really good for your immune system, and
So you're like putting a
but I
metal in your body?
yeah, it's silver.
So
Yep.
is that considered like one of those heavy metals? Because I know like
No.
no. Okay. So what do you know the difference there? Because I'm like really curious right now.
Yeah, let's look it up. What's the difference? Heavy metal.
Yeah, because you always hear about metals, and you don't want to have too much metals in you. But you're saying you take it for colds and stuff. Like be like a little hack here: hot toddy and silver water.
Difference
Oh,
between metal and heavy
lungs and my
metal. Let's.
feet are so hot right now. From working out on the bare feet on the mats because I haven't been doing it much, and I did it heavy the last 2 days. Whew.
So it says that their heavy metals are relatively very high densities, atomic weights, or atomic numbers compared to other metals. Okay, so what is a metal?
So is silver a heavy metal?
Oh, this has silver on the heavy metal list. Interesting. It has zinc on there too. Iron. Lead.
It says there's all types of silver. Using silver for colds. I want to see. Using silver.
Yeah, look up colloidal silver. Colloidal. It's
This
pretty
is
cool.
silver. How to use it and how it works from Doty Chiropractic, Center of Wholeness. Info and dosing for daily swelling care. Follow the instructions on the bottle. If you're already sick, take 1/2 to 1 teaspoon 4 to 5 times a day. And it's this Silver Soul technology. So let's see what Silver Soul technology is. It says it works with bacteria.
It won't kill the bacteria, it says.
And it says it works against it.
Yeah, it's very antibacterial.
Yeah, right here. It's a bioactive silver. Dude, this is fucking crazy. Yeah, this
Yep.
is professional bioactive silver hydrosol. Daily plus immune support. You can buy it in like a growler
Yep.
for $259.99.
Yep. You can literally like make it yourself. It's fucking crazy. It's not that hard. They didn't make it right, but
Yeah, so it says professional bioactive silver benefits. It provides short-term immune support. It's 99% pure silver hydrosol, 98% positively charged silver particles, AG+, tiny 0.8 nanometer particle size, so easy absorption and release, no taste, fragrance-free, vegan and vegetarian formula. So there you go. It
yeah,
is
because
out
it's just
there.
water and silver. So
Mhm. That's
I
neat. I'd
yeah,
never heard about that before.
I'm reading all these people that are taking colloidal silver for COVID and everything too, and seeing good results.
Colloidal silver. Shit, you can get it on Amazon.
Yep. Yeah, I would definitely, you know, look into your source.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you especially, you want to talk about looking into your source and your CBD, man. It's like, quality.
Yeah.
But
I look at like all my products like that. I'm always like I was really upset because my fiance found this yogurt that I really like, this Greek yogurt. It's like strawberry. It only has 2 grams of sugar per serving. It's like so good. I've never liked yogurt before, and it had like a different name on it. And I looked up the parent company of that company, and of course it's fucking Dannon.
oh
And I'm
no.
like, okay, so this is just fucking Dannon yogurt packaged differently. Is that what this
Yeah.
is? Like, what the fuck?
Dude, I've
It's
been to the Dannon factory.
uh
I've been to Dannon, I've been to Kraft, I've been to Crown, I've been to what's that big freaking dog food company? I've been to all types of factories.
Purdue.
I've been to a couple Purdue's. I've been to the National Milk Association, some
What
shit
the
like
fuck?
that. Like I'm telling you, those cameras that I talked to you about, I go all over the place with those
Yeah,
cameras. Yeah, it's so fun. It's a lot
I
of
know.
fun.
I know.
I
I
get
can't wait to
to
have you come out.
I'm like a modern day Mike Rowe. I go to all the different factories and do how it's made. Like
Dirty jobs.
I love that shit. I love it. And I'm honestly like that's one of the things that I've talked about before too is the trades. Like if you can get into the trades at a
Mm-hmm.
school, like if you're really not loving school and you know that and you just like to fucking work and you like to do stuff, dude, learn a trade. Like be a carpenter, be a plumber. And I always say to my daughter and even my bonus son Holden is like if you want to do something and make money at it, either just be the best at it. Like just be the
Mm,
best at it. You can make money doing whatever you want to if you're just like the best at what you do. Or at least like
exactly.
striving to be the best at what you do. You can make some money and enjoy it because like you're doing shit you like to do.
Yeah, and you're gonna be too busy to spend it.
Yeah.
You're too
That's how
busy
he is
working to
right
spend
now.
it.
He's actually actively deployed right now. So
Oh,
he went into the service. I was like, dude, that's the best thing ever because when you come out, if you do want to go to school, you can go to school for free and you're
yep.
coming out with tons of experience. I mean, he's on
Imagine if they paid for like a trade for free. Like that'd be cool too.
oh, they'll definitely do that. Yeah, it's
Really?
yeah. Yeah, they'll like a technical institute or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you wanted to go and
Hmm.
join wherever, yeah, they'll hook you up on that as well.
That's really interesting. I've been juggling the idea of I've never used my benefits. Like I went into Marine Corps boot camp and fucked up my knee running, and
Mm.
then just kind of didn't tell anybody for a few weeks, and it made it really, really bad. Just kept getting worse until like the point where like when the Navy doctors were coming by, they literally were like, "Okay, what the fuck is up with your knee?" Because I'm
Yeah.
like not putting any pressure on that side of my body. It's the size of a cantaloupe. They're like, "Something's up with your
Ooh.
knee." And they did some X-rays. They didn't find anything. Like we could do like a CAT scan and stuff, but let us look into your medical records and stuff first. And they started digging, and and then they found out about my knee surgery. So, you
Like,
know,
made it, nerd.
like yeah, but they tortured me for like 4 weeks before they let me leave. It was it was fucking crazy. I'm like injured, and they told me you're going back to fucking boot camp whether you like it or not. And I'm like, I want to. Like, if you could help me get better, like that'd be great. But until I'm better, like I can't, I can't.
Yeah.
I'm not going back. And then they made me run to test to go back, and I was literally hobbling because I could like barely put any weight on it. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, fuck it. You guys want me to try? I'm gonna show you how I can run right now because I can't fucking run right
Yeah.
now. And after like the first lap around, they stopped me like, get over here. And I'm like thriving in pain, and I'm just like, and then a drill instructor comes up to me, and I didn't, it was a female drill instructor, and she walked by me, and I didn't like stop and salute her at attention, like, good afternoon, ma'am. And because I was in so much pain, I wasn't even paying attention to anything around me. And then she came up to me and she like growled at me. It was like vicious, like, you didn't say fucking goody afternoon. And I'm like, good afternoon, sir. Ma'am. Like just
Yeah. Freaking
panicking, dude.
out. That's brutal.
I thought she was gonna punch me in the face. I really did. Like I was like, "Fuck! This is the day a female drill instructor beats my ass in front of everybody."
And I'm gonna have to take it too
Yep.
because I can't fight back because my knee's fucked up.
Yeah, exactly. She's just gonna kick me in my knee if I try to fight back.
Right. Yeah. Oh, dude, I checked the guy tonight. He came for a round kick and I checked his leg, and it went knee to foot.
Oof.
And he'd come back and he was like, "Oh my god!" He goes, "It went numb for like a minute and a half." Dude, my freaking ankle is just now getting better from like a month ago. I got elbow checked.
Oh.
I came around with a switch round kick,
Yep.
and instead of like coming like round over the leg
You went
to
straight.
like not get hit by an elbow check, I went like straight up at an
Yep.
angle. So whenever you get elbow checked like that, it nails you. And they got me right in like the soft tissue on the top of my foot, like where that little ball is, but right in front of it where it's really, really soft and almost like if you push on it, it's kind of gushy. It got
Mm-hmm.
hard as a rock for probably 3 weeks. And just now I realized today that it's like starting to go down. And now it's just sort of bruised.
That's how Connor broke his leg. You know, like
Mhm.
it was the elbow check. If you really look, like when he went, and you could see him step back on. Ow.
Yeah.
And then he threw, yeah, 'cause he threw something else that like another check that really hurt him, and he already had a fracture, but that elbow check just hit him perfectly, bink, right on the spot, and just broke his whole bone. Ugh.
Well, I had heard too that small, so the tibia, fibula, I think the
Hmm.
fibula is the big one. If you break your tibia, your fibula actually can't support your body weight without the tibia.
So crazy.
So it'll snap. If you snap the small one, the big one will snap.
What the
That's what I had heard because your body just can't support its own weight like that. And that's why whenever people step back on it, it breaks.
Yep. Yep.
And
Ugh.
that's what happened to Weidman and happened to Connor. It's the same exact thing.
Yeah, and Anderson Silva.
Yeah, Silva too. Yeah. So like you break that small one and it's broken, so you feel like that one doesn't hurt as bad, and then when you step back, like the other one just snaps.
Is that an unfair advantage now that the Connor has a steel rod in his leg? Won't that hurt more to get kicked?
Probably. Dude,
That's
his
just,
video the other day of him flying down the road in like a Lamborghini smoking a doob. Like, I'm like, this
oh
guy
my
just
god.
living the life. And then there's the third picture where it's him just like, and the caption is when you see the cops. Normal.
It's just act normal,
Right.
just act normal.
You know, like he does whenever he's like flexing.
Yep.
When he sucks in his stomach. He was doing that while he was driving, and it says, "Just look normal. The cops are here." Yeah, like he does. Fucking crazy ass. You
Dude
got
is
to say
nuts.
though, you want to talk about like a showman and just like leaning into who you the fuck are. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
And just the hype himself up the way he does, and the fact that they had footage of him as he was on the come up and believing in himself that whole entire time. I mean, come on. If that shit ain't
Yeah.
powerful for somebody that's just like, I don't know where to start. I don't, right there.
Right the fuck there.
Believe in your damn self, you know?
Yeah.
As soon as you have that confidence, like it just seems to other people start to believe in that too. And it all feeds back into like you just being a fucking badass then.
Yeah, like if you believe in yourself and you take actions towards the things that you believe in, it just like beautiful things start happening.
Yeah.
And it's a humbling experience throughout all of life because sometimes the things you want to happen don't happen, and sometimes they happen perfectly as planned. I'd say more, the first option.
But you know what? I think sometimes it's because we're not ready for those things.
Yeah,
A
I
lot of the
agree.
times, like if you, I think about this in terms of like, I bring up my job all the time because I think it's important in my development because I was patient because my dad he always told me, he said, just, you got to put in your time. You got to put in your time. And I'm like, dude, I'm tired of putting in my time. Like, when is
Right.
it going to be my time? And, but you have to gain the experience to be able to seize the moment whenever it is time,
Mm,
and only whenever you are confident enough in your abilities will you take on those opportunities,
exactly.
you know. And I think you got to go through the micro shit before you can get into like the macro success, I suppose. What you determine is successful, like
Yeah.
outside perspective aside, just like what you feel is successful. Like me being able to approach a VP now just because they're a VP, I used to be so intimidated
Mhm.
by that title, but now I'm just so confident in what I have to offer that I just know that I can help you. So that's really what I'm after, and like that's the passion that drives it. So I don't give a shit anymore.
Be like, I've talked to Gary V. I don't give a shit anymore.
I just, that I got to tell you, whenever I was on his StreamYard, it was like the craziest fucking shit. It was crazy.
Why?
Just mostly because like I randomly clicked on the link while I was in the Discord, and then it says you're connecting. Like it took me like 20 times to like click on, click off, click on, click off for it would like connect because he filled the room. So I
Yeah.
was just waiting my turn, but every time I come in and out, like I got a different queue number. So I ended up getting into it, and then they pulled me right up, and I was on the show with. It was funny. I was on the show with Iron Blacksmith from the Discord,
Yep.
the young dude who ended up
Yep.
getting the internship.
Yep.
Yeah, I was on the same time he was. It was neat. I was on right before him, and then he come on after me and just fucking slam dunked it.
Right.
Nailed it. He got the internship and everything, which was so cool. So I was in on it, and we were talking in the background too, like in this little chat here in the private chat. We were all sitting there chit chatting after the show. But yeah, I got pulled up and asked him a question about gas and had a little conversation about that. Because early on, I was like, dude, gas sucks. I don't understand it, and it
Right.
seems expensive. So can I make it cheaper? And his advice to us was like, don't go cheap on gas.
Hmm.
And my whole entire situation was I barely had enough money to put in. So I went cheap on gas and I lost the first time. Like my whole entire story is like I went for that carrying camel and I kept clicking the button to go through. So it kept ringing transactions. And now we know, like, you know exactly where I'm going with this. Every time I hit that transaction, every time it was going to fail because there was nothing there to buy because somebody already bought it because they paid fast gas. Every one of those transactions was going to fail, but it was also going to charge me every single time for the gas. So I had to go and cancel it. I didn't know how. I didn't even know that was an option. So I go into the support chat because earlier in the day, Crystal Groves, you know Crystal Groves from the Discord, she's a mod now. Then she was just like tech support for MetaMask because she had a little bit of experience. So I'm in there early in the morning. She was like, hey, if anybody has issues with their transactions, make sure you come into this chat and we'll be able to hook you up. So I was like, I reached out to her during the day and I said, hey, if I have any issues today, I just want to like make sure that I get you all the information you need just in case. Well, wouldn't you know it? I needed her. So as soon as all that shit went down, I got back into that chat. I said, hey, I need help. I have a failed transaction. I kept clicking. They got me into this side chat. I started talking with some people and they were like, dude, like, we've never seen this many transactions. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Here, I gave them the contract address, not my address. I didn't even know. So then we're looking, they're like, no, we need your address. And I was like, oh, okay. So then I got the mine. They're like, okay, well, you need to go into your activity and then just reject and cancel all of those transactions. So I went in and I was able to, like, I'm computer savvy. Like, I know what I'm doing for the most part. I can click around and figure it out. So I was able to click around and figure it out and then closed all of those and canceled all of those transactions. Had I not, I would have lost like a ton of money that day. I would have not been able to get a VeeFriend. Well, I ended up going after it again the next day and I knew what to do this time. I had to put a little bit more money in, but I knew what I had to do. I knew exactly what the gas should be, but I still got cute with gas. This is the crazy part, Adam. I waited until the transaction. I didn't have enough funds, but I just waited until the transaction, that little where it says insufficient funds. You know how like ETH goes up and down and gas goes up and down. So I just waited for it to not be red. Bam, clicked it. Started spinning. Failed transaction. And I'm like, what? So I just let it sit there. I'm like almost in tears at this point because, like, you know, you
about to lose it.
You put everything into this thing. You finally made the decision to do it, and then it's shitty. Like, it's a shitty experience now. And this is what I want. This is why I did so much to avoid this for anybody who bought one of our NF Daddies. Was like, I never wanted somebody to feel the way I felt during that time because I felt like shit. I felt like an idiot. I felt foolish for doing all of this. So I'm sitting there and like feeling bad about myself and blah, blah, blah. And then I hit the refresh on the website and it says sold. And then the little logo thing looked like my logo, like my MetaMask thing, the little circle, and it's got all the pixelated shit on it. So I'm like, that looks like mine. Like the owner is, and I start looking at the address and I said, that's my address. That's like, I'm like, holy shit, I own that. I'm like, holy shit, I own a turnt tick. I fucking did it. So I called Alyssa and I'm bawling. I'm like, I fucking got the turnt tick, you know? And she's like, you bought a fucking what?
Yeah, exactly.
At this point, she's not in. You know, she's not in.
You spent how much?
You spent how much on a fucking bug?
On a tick?
Yeah, like this guy.
Yep.
I'm like, I got it. And you know, she was like, oh, congratulations, but dude, I was like, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that I fucking did it. And then I got one. So it was a whole experience though, but I owe it all to Crystal Groves, and I always tell her that when I see her. I can't wait till Farmer Bits comes out because I'm gonna buy a fuck ton of them because like I owe her. Like everything that I've done in this community is a result of her being gracious with her knowledge, even small as it was, helped me to get into VeeFriends and to be part of this whole entire movement. You know, it
Exactly.
all stemmed from that small piece of education, and that's like the driving force behind my passion for this alternative education inside of the space. Is like, even if I'm not the go-to, I'm a resource of resources, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I hope it helps somebody that gets into it, has a good experience, and just carries the torch forward. Like I love it. But it never
Yeah,
would have been possible had they not helped me out.
I picture really big things for you guys, honestly. I really do, because it's just uh, like you were saying, there's what, 5 of you guys, 6 of you
Yeah,
guys,
5.
and you guys all work so fucking hard for the purpose of like finding your why and helping people find their why, and that's so powerful when you get that kind of energy all working in synchronicity together, and it's a beautiful thing. I'm loving seeing it. I really do believe in this project a lot. Once I get more money, I'm definitely buying more. So I'm halfway like happy. It's not sold out yet, because I was like, fuck. That's why like the first day I was like, I need to
Yeah.
get one, and I was like, this shit's gonna be sold out. Like
No, no.
I just always
We
think
launched
like,
it the worst time possible.
what do you mean?
Just because like ETH skyrockets, the
Oh
coin
yeah,
skyrocket, and gas is fucking bananas.
yeah.
It came like after the summer, so things are kind of cooling down for the holidays. And I'm like, I sort of got a little bit like about it, you know, but at the same time, it's like, nah, this is like long term. You know, this is a movement. This is not a money grab. This is more than that. This
Mm-hmm.
is so much more than that, because you just look around at the world that we live in now, and all of the power that is wielded around is on because of fiat money, and all of the systems are set up to enhance that establishment. You know, it's all set up that way,
Yep.
when the cracks are really like all of the worker bees, all of us worker bees, like there there's no reason that we shouldn't be able to, everybody should be able to have at least what they need to live, and
Mm-hmm.
not have to suffer the way that some people do. It's just ridiculous that, you know, inside of the cities that we have, you know, homelessness and no places for the mental health issues to go to anymore, because all the mental health facilities are shut down. For what reason? Well, to privatize prisons so they can make money on the prisons, so they can make money on, you know, housing these people. And it's like, when you see it for what it is, it's just, it makes you mad. And
Mm.
being mad about it's one thing, but then doing something about it is totally something different. And if there's a way, I'm always after a way to help out those people, like the forgottens almost, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because I come from social work. You know,
Yep.
I did grow group homes. I come from food stamps, bro. Like I got free lunches. Like, you
Same.
know, so I know those people. I am the people. You know, I don't give a shit who you are. I will say good morning. You know, I don't care if you're in a suit or if you're in a plumber's outfit or a janitor or a scrubs or a bus driver. I don't give a shit.
Yep. You
Good
can't
morning.
judge them. You can't judge them because, dude, I had this guy come into my job, right? And he looks like he's a mechanic. He's got work boots on and a blue jumpsuit. Um, I don't judge people. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
You need a mattress just like everybody else. You probably more than anybody else. And he's like, the people across the street were assholes. They judged me. They thought I was poor because of the way I'm dressed. I'm like, you just look like somebody that works hard, sir. And he's just like, yeah, I do fucking work hard. He pulls out $20,000 out of his pocket, and he's just like, I carry this around with me casually. I'm not even spending this. This is just money to look at. I got $3 million in cash at home. I'm like, what? You just
Whoa,
like going off,
where do
dude.
you live?
Yeah, like what's your address?
You
um,
want to have dinner?
yeah, like want to go. I was trying to like throw little hints about like my company and everything, and he's like,
Yeah,
oh, that's pretty cool. You know, like he didn't seem super interested. I was like, fuck. So hoping he'd
that's
be into
funny.
hemp. You never know.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's just being able to talk to people, and I have just the gift of gab. I love talking to people. I think everybody's just so fascinating. I really
Yeah.
do. I truly believe everybody has just such a cool story. Just to make it to your 20s and 30s and 40s, like fuck, all the shit that you see and you go through, and to not like think that you're valuable or your story's not valuable is just crazy to me. Like everybody has so much value to give and so many experiences to share, and like I don't know. I love the collective. I love the collectiveness too about just when you talk about community is
Hmm.
really being able to share your experiences with one another so we can like learn from each other. The more separate and opposite ends that we get to, the less likely we are to interact on shit that matters because we're worried about all this dog whistly shit, all this clickbaity shit, when
Hmm.
really 90 probably 7% of topics we probably agree on. There's like that
Right.
3% that's in the news that like we get all mad about. It's like, dude, fuck
Yep.
off. you know, can we focus on sustainability, and can we focus on people like being able to eat and have clean water? Can we do that for a bit?
Yep. Getting off social media as much too is that was like the trick for me to be like exactly what you're saying. Like, oh, I agree with this person like 90% of the way. Like, I don't have a problem with this person. I just don't like their views on like these four things. Like,
Yeah.
besides that, they're pretty cool. And it's just like kind of puts everything back into perspective because it's everything's being fueled by the media and social media and just so and all the algorithms are like super evil, like like Facebook, all the shit that it's doing, it thinks it's really just going to be able to rebrand itself as Meta and everybody's going to forget about all of it, like
Oh, I know. I got to tell you, there's a lot of fun going on in that shit. That was that's that's a tricky one, because you usually think about FUD and you're like, if everybody's fudding on it, it's probably going to do something pretty cool. Because usually when people are shitty about something, that it ends up being okay. But
hmm,
the fact that just the privacy piece of Facebook and all of the stuff that they've done in terms of like collecting data and selling it. I don't even know if they've sold it, but just the collecting of data and then the breaches that they've had of that data and how it's been used. Like they've I can't remember what was the company's name that did all the elections and they used all that macro data.
I can't remember.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole entire documentary on it on Netflix. Anyhow, it's just like when you think about when I think about social media and all the algorithms, and if you truly are like just being authentic in all of the words that you write and all of the things that you look at, it's like the algorithm it's sort of cool in terms of like what it can show you with the targeted ads and all of that shit. Like somehow the algorithm knows exactly what I like, or is it the algorithm tells me what to like?
Hmm.
That's do I have an active choice in it? I'm not sure. But I like a lot of the shit that comes up on my feed. At least on like Twitter and Instagram. Now Facebook, I get on there because mostly because of like our martial arts studios on there, and I like to look at everything on there and then keeping up with some of my
They all have algorithms,
like
100%.
local friends. Yeah.
Like Facebook just I feel like is the most forceful of the algorithms. Like, YouTube, if Joe Rogan brings this up all the time. He says like if you want to if whatever you want on YouTube is what you'll get. Like his friend looked up a bunch of cute kitten videos for months and all he got was cute kitten videos in his suggested folders. Like me, I watch a lot of fighter interviews, so I could watch anything. If I watch Coco Melon with my daughter on my YouTube account, it'll probably recommend a fight next. You know, like
Yeah.
that's how serious it is. Because it's like, oh, there's a 95% chance that he's gonna click this,
Yeah.
and well, somebody on Reddit asked if we're trying to be a part of the Illuminati. We shouldn't tell them. We are the Illuminati.
Yeah. It was funny. We were studying for a test. My daughter and I. She had it was Mesopotamia.
Haha.
You know, Mesopotamia and the
Yeah.
Great Flood and all the silt, and that's how humanity started. If you're
Yep.
familiar with that story, um, well, we were just like going over the study guide, and all of a sudden because we watch YouTube as well, like before we kind of have snack and then bed, and it's just this whole routine. But we watch YouTube before we go up to bed or while we're in bed, and one of the suggested videos was a video about Mesopotamia.
Hmm.
We had not looked up anything about Mesopotamia. We had just been talking about it though, um, while we were reading the story and looking up, or not looking up, but just talking about it and reviewing the story and the study guide. And then there was a video about it. And that's not the first time that like that's happened to me. One time when we were at the beach, we were at Dewey Beach, Delaware, and my buddy and I were outside of an ice cream store, and we were just like just shooting the shit and eating ice cream, and we were talking about the Jeep Commando trucks, I think is what they were called, or
Hmm.
Comanche. I can't remember what they were actually
I think
called.
it was Commando.
Yeah, with Commando. So like we saw one run up and down the road, and I was like, oh man, I really like those. And we just started talking about them, and then he texted me the next day, and he goes, bro, I got an ad for one of those trucks. I said, dude, I got an ad for one of those trucks. So I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just
Hmm.
random, but
Maybe they're reading your minds. They know exactly what you want. They know you
I
better
don't
than
know.
you.
I don't know what it is, but it's just to see the glitches in the matrix sometimes is a lot of fun if you're just paying attention a little bit. Is all.
Yeah.
I have no idea if like they're listening or what's what. I have no clue.
Speaking of a glitch in the Matrix, we're at 2 hours already. I've been doing this every show this season where I haven't been paying attention to the time at all.
Yeah,
And I'm like, why am I getting tired? I'm like, oh, it's 2 hours in and it's
yeah,
almost
for sure. We
midnight.
can totally cut.
No, yeah, but I can't leave without asking you about what the hell is going on with the Sorcerer Scholarship.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. I have no idea.
Really?
I have no
See,
idea.
so that message of him saying that he's chosen the 16, like he hasn't told anybody who the 16 is or anything, as
He
far as you
hasn't told
know.
me. If I'm out, I don't know about anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing that I got, I had so you submit your video of or not your video, but you submit your scholarship essay. Thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people submitted essays, and mine was selected as one of the finalists or semifinalists. I don't even know what you call it. Um, to submit another video, it was 60 seconds or less as to if you were to win the Sorcerer Scholarship and you sold it, what would you do with that money? And I was like, shit, this is easy. I know exactly what I would do with it. Like, I know exactly what I would do with it. I would get the fuck out of debt first and foremost. Like,
Facts.
like so I can have some freedom to do whatever I want to and sink every last penny that's not associated with my debts right back in the community. Like,
Yep.
easy. That's an
Yeah.
easy answer.
Yeah. That's like the easiest answer I think in the world, because like that's what I would do, is I would sell that and do what you said, get out of debt, and then I would buy into people's projects that I really love, and
Right.
then I would buy more VeeFriends.
Yeah, like could you imagine if I sold that fucker? Let's say that it's a one of one, it's one of five in a collection that is, you know, it's a blue chip project. I mean, you could probably sell it, I don't know. If you think that it's punk level at some point, maybe in the next 3 years when all of the um actually I think it's only a year of actual, let me look it up. I think it's only a year of actual utility, but you can get no, it'd be 3 years because you get it for the
VCon.
yeah, you get it for VCon. So there's definitely 3 years. I'm pulling it up here. Yeah, along with oh come on, goofball. So the other Sorcerer Scholarship token holders selecting applicants will have 5 45-minute mentor sessions with Gary Vaynerchuk over the course of 1 year. Selected applicants will have 30 hours of mentor sessions with Gary's personal and professional network. And then you'll also have an electable option to intern at VaynerMedia. Original ownership of the 5 scholarship tokens are only awarded through an application process, not available for purchase, and it's verifiable admission for VCon, so 2023 to 2024. So you would think like after 2024, that's 3 years. You got to think that VeeFriends in 3 years, like what is that going to look like? Well, that's Punks 3 years ago. So if you equate it to the same thing and you think that's where it's headed, that's a significant amount of money. I mean, you're talking $1 million some odd dollars at that point.
What was the utility that was cool about punks?
There isn't anything.
Oh.
Yeah, there's nothing. It was just it was the OG of sort of generative projects, I guess, but it wasn't even really the OG because there were like the curio cards even before that, and the rocks were before that. So, and then the Lost Robbies are in there somewhere. So there's been other generative projects out there too. That's the weird part. It's just Larva Labs came out with that Punks and they just killed it.
Yeah, dude, they are crushing. That's enough. Bored Apes too. Like I'm so upset that I didn't just spend the money to mint a fucking ape, dude. Like, come on, are you kidding me? Like, they were so cheap. They were so cheap. What was it? 0.04?
No, I think they're 0.07.
0.07.
Yeah.
Still.
Oh, trust me, I know.
And I just didn't. That would have been
Old
my most
project
expensive thing
0.07.
that I ever bought, like as far as cryptocurrency. And I was like, should I don't know. And then
Yeah,
like World of Women was the other one because that one was even less expensive than Bored Ape, if I remember correctly.
that was 0.07 as well.
That really is like
I
the
was
sweet
looking at
spot.
him. I was looking at him when Gary talked about it, and they were 0.08, and I was looking at him at 0.08, and I decided to go with the Fame Lady Squad instead. I bought 2 Fame Lady Squads instead of buying the World of Women. Is what I ended up doing because I knew that because Alyssa had the World of Women, and Amanda had a World of Women, and they were doing the Vagina show. So Sarah didn't have one yet. So I was like, shit, I could give one to her and I could keep one, and that'll be a lot of fun. So I bought 2 of them instead of getting the World of Women and then gave one to Sarah. I was so excited to give it to her. Like it was the best.
Yeah.
It was like the best feeling ever. And then she got a crown too. So it was even better. And
Hell
now I
yeah.
believe she's getting a Halloween drop. And so she's like fully into it. So that's cool.
Damn. But have you ever looked up like at what World of Women you would have bought and see how much it's worth now?
No, I never look back. I never look back. I
I
refuse.
I like have to figure out my patterns. Like I'm so obsessed with it. Like, why the fuck did I make that decision? Why didn't I just pull the trigger on ETH? And I'm like, lesson learned, stored. Why didn't I pull the trigger on Bitcoin in 2012? Okay, lesson stored. Like all these things, like being too scared. And then there's other
Well,
times
yeah.
where it's like the opposite, where I'm too courageous and I just like hop into things like without dipping my toe. I just cannonball in. When if I would have dipped my toe, I would have seen that it was poison. Like,
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too, and that's why I think education is just so important, and taking your time and being patient with things. Like it's difficult in the moment because all of this shit plays off of our emotions. Like all of it. I talked about this in a spaces the other day. Was like all of this shit, all of marketing, all of sales. It's all a lot of it. I shouldn't say all, but a lot of it is driven and actually curated to play off of our emotions and to have us make decisions when we're emotional. So if we can like draw attention to that first off, like that's the shit that's going on. So whenever you get hype trained, and at the end of the hype train, there's there's a reason why the gift shop is at the end of the ride is because you're pumped, you're excited. So you're going to spend more money after the ride, not before, after. It's proven. So it's the same exact thing. Like whenever you follow these hype trains, it's like, dude, the hype and then it comes straight down. But whenever you have things that are more long term, you can take that hype and stretch it. So it's not so bing, 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 bing. It's just little bits, little dopamine dumps, but long term. So it's less addictive, but it's more satiating.
Dude, I can't lie when I say that, like, you're totally right about it being addicting. Like, that one flip I made on the Grill Gang where I didn't get one for free through PLP. I minted one and for .06, and it ended up being .08 with gas. And the next day flipped it for 2.22.
Yeah.
And I was just like, that feeling, I've just been like every day, I'm like, what project can I do that with? And like, there's nothing there. There's just nothing there right now. And I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, be patient, Adam. Be patient. It's coming. And I'm just buying into projects. Like yours is a long-term project. I know that for sure. I'm gonna be holding that for a long time.
Right.
And who else? I think I wanted to buy another Chubby Doodle. That's on my list. I have
I
one of
love
my
that recent contest they just did too.
the no face contest.
Yeah, I submitted one, but I saw some of the ones that are finalists, and I'm like, oh shit, I can't even believe I'm beside these bitches. Like, they're amazing.
Yeah. Oh, were you a finalist?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
No.
I'm honestly surprised Alyssa's didn't make it. That was so like perfect.
With the belly shirt.
Yeah, dude.
Listen, you want to see that? Oh my god, it makes me want to cry. How amazing it makes me feel that she is like just took this whole entire thing by the horns and just like slam dunked. It's been so much fun to watch her get involved and like just be so much more confident in herself because I told her like over the summer, I said, babe, you got your swagger back. Like it's back. And it's so fun to see. And then it's like just ever since she got more engaged with things, like she's just been skyrocketing.
She's mooning.
She really is. She's amazing, unbelievably amazing. And then to like be so supportive of everything that I do and everything V does, and like all these things that she juggles. I always say that like she's always just trying to spin 22 plates all the time, and somehow she's able to keep every one of them fuckers up, every one of them. So
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch her just kind of be comfortable in her own skin and really enjoy herself again.
See, and that's like one of the reasons I want to get mine into it. Is just like same thing. Like you come on. Like I know you would have a good time if you eventually got into it. There's so many cool women in here and cool people in general too. Like, but usually women tend to want to like, okay, where's the women? Are there women in this group? Like that's how she's like. It sounds like it's all dudes that talk. I'm like, no, and there's people's wives are involved and there's definitely women that are just there by themselves. Their husbands are not involved at all. Like there's plenty of that. Like
For sure.
And
Yeah,
like
it's everything.
vaginas. I talk about vaginas all the time with her. Like I sing it to her. Like what?
Vaginas.
It's
That shit
so funny.
jingles.
It does. Jingle jangles.
Talk about jingles, dude. I was so pumped to put your. Actually, I don't think I have it. Hang on, maybe I'll be able to play it in my Discord. This will be the first one that anybody's ever seen. Let me see if I can.
Welcome to Vaginas.
Let me see if this will work. So
Facebook's about to pull us off because it's close enough to vagina. You're not allowed to talk about anatomy.
Oh no, it'll share my whole screen. Yeah, never mind. No, I had put your track that you made for us, the dad life. So initially I had it with the words, And then we all decided that we all got really sidetracked and we were singing along with it and decided that that probably wasn't the best thing to do. So that's why I asked you for the instrumental. And once you gave me that instrumental, I put it behind the um, onto the video that we made, and now it's just the background noise on there. So I'm like, oh, this is so cool. This is so cool because I know where it comes from, and now it'll give, because everybody, the whole point of doing this educational content is to give everybody a tool, you know, to show them how to open a MetaMask. What the fuck is cryptocurrency? What is this crypto wallet? What is an NFT? What is a POAP? You know, what is a Discord? What is a Twitter? You know, it's the things that we just like talk about is legit things that people want to know.
And that, yeah, they're like foreign to people.
Totally foreign. Totally foreign. And that was funny because one of the guys that jumped into our Discord, I was talking about the NFT Academy, and he was like, hey, I sort of do that on the side for a living. So if you wanted to work together, I'd be happy to work with you. So I've been working with a dude from Australia for the last month to put this together. And it's all his illustrations. And it's like, so I'm working with a dude from the UK is our developer. A dude from Philly is a developer. Dude from Miami is our artist. Dude from California is one of our strategic initiatives guy. Me in PA, and then now this guy in Australia. Like we're global. Fucking
You
global.
are officially a global company.
We're a global company. And in our Discord, we're bilingual because we got Argentinians in there speaking Spanish all the time. I'm like, this is exactly the community that I wanted to build.
Yep.
Like, this is exactly what I'm trying to do is like everybody is the fucking same. Like, we're all the same. We all just are trying to make it. You know, we're trying to make it.
Yeah.
And,
I agree,
and
man.
how that actually comes to fruition is like, it's a group effort, I think.
Yeah, that's one of the things I'm missing from mine. Like, I can't wait to get my project bigger and like be able to afford to have like an artist on my team and like, or not even afford, but just like attract somebody that's like, I want to do all your art. Like, I've seen
Yep.
your ideas. Let me do it. Like, Droshik has done it, but I know it would be so much to have him commit to like my ideas of like what I'm looking for, and he has his own project too. So it's like it's just so hard. And I'm such a idiot sometimes about asking for help. Like, I just really am. I'm just so bad about being like, hey guys, can I have
Well,
a
I
little
mean,
bit of help?
you're a perfect candidate to come and like have a project with NF Daddies. Like, you're a daddy holder. We're going to be able to help you out. Like, that's the point
True.
of it, you know. So always lean on us and ask
I'm a
questions.
daddy
And
holder.
yeah, you're an NF Daddy holder. Our collab bot should be up here pretty soon too, so you'll be able to verify that as well.
Hey, let's
And it's going to
fucking
give
go.
you access to our website too, that is only accessible for daddy holders. So that's coming up here. It's already built. We just have to fill in content, really.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it, man. I'm excited for everything you're doing in the future, and I definitely have to have you back on for sure. And
Yeah.
I hope by like next year that I don't have to do shows at 9:30. It's just like the only thing that fits in my schedule lately.
Totally dope.
And
I love it.
yeah, and I'm just happy that you came on, man. Like, I thought you were on 3 weeks ago because I've just like I knew your name was coming up, and I'm like, I think Ron's on next week. Ah, fuck, he's not. I think
Nope.
Ron's on next week. Fuck, he's not. And then last week it was like, oh, who's on next week? Ron, finally.
Yeah, he made it.
Yeah,
No,
it's
I've been
like,
super pumped up about this. I love chatting with you, dude. Like, we chop it up and it's a lot of fun. So
yeah, I agree, man.
yeah,
Well,
have me back.
for all the people that will be listening and watching after, can you let them know where they could find you at?
Yeah, absolutely. So the best way to get a hold of me is probably through the starspodcast.com. You can click through all of my, like, everything through there is going to link you back to my Instagram, which is Ambitious Distractions. And then on Twitter, I'm The Stars Podcast. On TikTok is The Stars Podcast. So, and then anywhere that you download your podcast from, it's The Stars Podcast. So we're on iHeartRadio, we're on Spotify, we're on Google, we're on iTunes. So yeah, check us out. We are dropping, just like you were talking about. I don't know about the seasons. I like just to push it out there, but we are coming out with season 2. November 9th, we're going to start up, and um, we have the lead editor from NFT Kids coming on for the
Oh,
very first show. So it's going to be exciting.
that's super fire.
Yeah, but yeah, again, just thestarspodcast.com, and you'll be able to find all my links from there. Um, Twitter is the Stars Podcast, and Instagram, that's where I like to kind of hang out and post all my jujitsu shit and running stuff and all that. That's where you can find all the like the supplements and the workouts, and that's my Instagram. Twitter is more into the crypto and the NFT stuff, is much
Yeah,
more on that side.
my Twitter is like 100% crypto and NFT.
Yeah. And then also, if you want to get into NFTs and you want to mint a cool project and support us in what we're doing, check out nfdaddies.com or nfdaddies.io. You can go and mint straight from the contract as well. So you can go to Etherscan if you're super savvy. If not, we can walk you through it in our Discord. So check us out, nfdaddies.com.
Definitely check them out. I have one in my wallet. I'll definitely be getting more. Uh, so
Man.
as always, guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Good vibes to you. Thank you for tuning in.